A lifelong dream. A vision shared by father and son. The time has arrived when aspiration can become achievement. A storied career built on historic conquests.
And Patricio Pitbull makes Bellator history!
But to remain on the throne, this king must continue to repel all who attempt to lay claim to his dominion.
McKee has made his way to the finals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix.
Follow the journey as I take over the game.
A Grand Prix tournament is the ultimate test for the challengers and the champion. The field of 16 has battled its way to a dramatic climax.
And he will meet A.J. McKee as Pitbull gets it done.
The reigning title holder versus the #1 contender.
When I look him in his eyes, I see that monster. He's got a beast in there. But I just feel just that little sense of fear.
A double champion who has smashed the Bellator MMA record books.
And a lightning strike for Patricio Pitbull.
Meets the formidable challenge of an undefeated phenom.
A.J. McKee is undefeated, but to be the champion, he has to be complete. One thing is left for him, to be defeated. I'm gonna prove that for him.
The stakes could not be higher for tonight's combatants. It's a fantasy matchup of legacy versus destiny. The featherweight belt and a $1 million bonus are the prizes for the victor. Tonight, Patricio Pitbull and A.J. McKee will enter the cage for the most anticipated fight in the history of Bellator MMA. Scenic Southern California is home to some of the world's best beaches and Hollywood. And you couldn't script the Bellator 263 main event any better. Home to fabled Fistic Fiestas and the Showtime era Lakers. Tonight, the Forum in Inglewood, California plays host to Bellator MMA on Showtime. The World Grand Prix kicked off in September 2019 with 16 featherweights, including 6 current or former champions. Now, only 2 remain. The pound-for-pound top dog in the promotion, champ Patricio Pitbull, says his legacy is what's driving him. He wants to solidify his claim of being the baddest man on the planet at 145. The undefeated A.J. McKee's entire professional career has been under the Bellator MMA banner. And tonight he looks to show the world why he's considered the future of the sport. Hello, I'm Mauro Ranallo. Bellator MMA, like the rest of the world, was forced to deal with the pandemic. And 1 year ago, the decision was made to set up residency in the fight sphere in front of no fans at Mohegan Sun. Tonight, we are following LA County COVID protocols, and thousands of masked fans will provide an electric atmosphere for the conclusion of the Gauntlet for Glory. And what would a big fight night be without Big John McCarthy? You've been involved in combat sports for most of your life. You're a walking, talking Google. If I were looking for a comparison and I punched tonight's main event into your search engine, what would pop up?
I'll tell you what would pop up for me is approximately 57 years ago, 1964-65, you had a young, brash fighter by the name of Cassius Clay, soon to be Muhammad Ali, who was out there and was going to go against a guy that all the experts says was, they said he was unbeatable. They said he was a monster, and it was going to be the monster versus the mouth. And with that, Bellator tonight has a very comparable, a mirroring type of fight with AJ McKee and Patricio Pitbull. Pitbull has been a dominant force in the featherweight division. He has just simply run through people, but in the last 5 years, Mauro, he has been devastating. He has quickly and savagely just put away every opponent that has decided to step in that cage against him. Now, AJ McKee, he is the future. He is a guy that you're looking at that is young, bold, brash. He's got size, he's got speed, he's got all the God-given talent that you could ask for, and he believes in himself. He's the guy that does not care if fans like him or hate him. He doesn't worry about that. He cares that they watch him because he wants to prove, just like Ali did, that he's the best. The real question here is, does Patricio Pitbull write his own history and show everyone how to shut up the mouth? Or is it AJ McKee who once again shocks the world and shows everyone that monsters aren't that scary? I can't wait to find out.
Neither can I, my friend. In fact, it was in this venerable venue that both Pitbull and McKee began their trek in this tournament. And it was an extra special night for McKee because his dad, Antonio, also fought and won. When AJ was just a baby, his dad, Antonio, had a vision that his son would become a world champion. Will Antonio's vision come to fruition, or will the Bellator MMA GOAT sock it to Antonio's progeny and earn his RESP ECT? With more on the Featherweight World Grand Prix Final and the rest of Bellator 263, let's check in with Jen Brown at the fight desk.
Well, thanks, Mauro. Hey, there is no denying that you can feel the excitement in the air, and it's really been building for the last 2 years. Of course, now joining me to break down this incredible card, we've got former two-time champ Josh Thompson, and making his return to the fight desk here, our former champ and our current heavyweight champ, Mr. Ryan Vader. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, well, look, this is like, what a card to come back for, right?
Oh, I love it.
Guys, I mean, it is here, right? We started with the 16 best featherweights in the world. Now we are down to the last two. Josh, what excites you most about this match?
Well, like I said from the prelims to take us off the air, and I'm going to say it again, it's the excitement of not knowing who is going to win this fight. That's really what the buzz is all about. You have the young, athletic, speed, like length, all those things that Big John was talking about with AJ McKee. He's explosive, he's dynamic, he's got great wrestling, he's got submissions, he's got it all. He's the full package, and he's bigger than Patricio, but he doesn't have the experience. He has the youth, but will that work in his benefit in this situation? So the one thing with Patricio is you got to be careful you don't step into that big power. Also, Patricio has been proven that he can wrestle. He has great submissions. That army guillotine he finished with Emmanuel Sanchez. All of those things make for fireworks. So really comes down to is that that's why there's so many people watching at home, so many people in the arena right now, because you want to know why? They don't know who's going to win.
I believe it's unknown on AJ. We all know Pitbull is a pound-for-pound best fighter in Bellator. He sets traps. If you make a mistake, he's going to jump on a guillotine. He's going to knock you out. How good is AJ? We know he's good. Is he great? Can he beat the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in Bellator? Can he get that belt, get that check, and walk home potentially one of the top pound-for-pound guys? And we get to see him pretty soon.
That's right. Well, earlier this week at the presser, these two kind of got into it. The bad blood was flowing over. Typical kind of for our champ, Patricio, uncharacteristic for AJ. Josh, what did you think when you saw the emotion from these two guys in that moment?
Well, as Ryan Bader and I will sit here and talk to you right now about this, there were some things that were said that overstepped the boundaries. You don't talk about family, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about certain things, and they both did it on both sides. And it was just something that boiled over here at the presser.
Yeah, it's an unwritten rule. You don't do it, right? Josh and I can sit here and talk smack all day long, but keep your families out of it. Certain things, certain beliefs, you know, and AJ went and grabbed the belt, but I believe he was just kind of like showing, I'm going to get this, and fell off the table, made it a bigger deal, you know, and here we are, they're cussing at each other. But Pitbull thrives off that, you know, and AJ seemed to take it, you know, just kind of let it roll off his back, and he's good to go.
Well, when I talked to Patricio's coach, Eric, you know, yesterday, and asked him, you know, what was Patricio, you know, his mindset? He said, when we walked out of that press conference, he turned to me and said, I'm going to knock him out just like I did Michael Chandler. Well, you know what? That worked out well for him. All right, well, there's so much on the line tonight in our main event. The featherweight belt, the tournament belt, and of course that $1 million check. Before that, we've got 4 more fantastic fights. They're coming your way. Well, in our co-main event, we got Bellator newcomer and 8th-ranked Burnell. He comes in riding a 6-fight win streak and looks to knock off the 2nd-ranked Emmanuel Sanchez. So Sanchez, he's a 25-fight veteran, says it's his his experience that will be the difference maker. Well, in the lightweight division, Usman Nurmagomedov, he's 12-0. He wants to continue the winning tradition of his family name, but standing in his way is Manny Muro, who is unbeaten in the Bellator cage and says he wants to hand him his first loss. Now, tonight, Usman and his Khabib's teammate, Islam Mamedov, he's going to make his Bellator debut when he faces former lightweight champ Brent Primus. Primus is 10-1. He's got a tough test in Islam, who hasn't lost a fight in over 12 years. That's going to be a good one. Well, to kick off the night, it's a lightweight feature bout, and for more on that, we're going to send it back down to Mauro Ranallo. Mo?
Thank you very much, Jen, here in the, well, former home of the Los Angeles Kings. We have a hat trick of lightweight contest to begin Bellator 263, and we begin with number 5 ranked Goichi Yamauchi against the undefeated Chris Gonzalez.
And now, we welcome tonight's first fighter, Chris the Lion Gonzalez.
Looking to give himself a belated 31-year-old birthday. Turned 31 on Thursday. Chris the Lion Gonzalez at 6-0, including 5 wins here in Bellator MMA. Grew up in an extremely violent area of Chicago, known for having one of the highest murder and crime rates in the United States. Endured a turbulent home life and overcame myriad obstacles, and well on his way to a successful MMA career.
Oh, there's no doubt he's on the way. Take a look at what Chris Gonzalez is. This is against veteran Roger Huerta, a guy that was the first MMA athlete on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He just picked Roger apart in the stand-up, and his wrestling, driving through him, getting great positions, and eventually just beating him down to the point that Roger could take no more. Chris Gonzalez is an outstanding athlete, and he's becoming an outstanding MMA fighter.
And poor Roger Huerta can be added to the list of victims of the Sports Illustrated jinx.
Might call it that.
And now, here's opponent, Goichi Yamauchi.
The Bellator MMA Submission King, Goichi Yamauchi, with 8 submissions here in Bellator MMA. Yes, the best around, the Karate Kid. I was more of a Cobra Kai fan myself, but Yamauchi at 28, 25-5, 11-4 in Bellator, has had to overcome injuries, weight issues, and a bitter loss in his last fight.
Yeah, it was a bitter loss in his last fight, but you know, these are the things that happen, and you've got to take those and make yourself, grow from them. You take a look at Goichi. Here he is against Syed Awad. This was a fight where Syed said, I'm not worried about him on the ground. Well, he was worried about 30 seconds into the fight, because now it's over. That's how good Goichi is. Everyone knows what he's going to do, but they can't stop him, and that just says how special he is. There he is, rear naked choke, and then against Darren Krutchek in Japan. Very tight squeeze, puts him out. This guy on the ground is a terror.
Let's take a look at the numbers for our opening contest here at Bellator 263, the main card.
You know, the real question here, Mo, you look at this as a great lightweight matchup, but you have a lot of experience at 25-5 with Goichi Yamauchi. Can Chris Gonzalez, he's got a lot of experience in the wrestling, 6-0 as a fighter. We're going to find out if he can match up to that experience of Goichi.
Time now to hear the voice of the microphone fiend, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Bellator MMA live on Showtime. Tonight, we return to the Forum in Inglewood, California, where the action is set to begin here at Bellator 263 with 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'11", weighing in 155 pounds even, his professional record undefeated at 6-0 by way of Chicago. He fights out of Sacramento, California. Presenting Chris the Lion Gonzalez. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 155 and 1/2 pounds. As a professional, 25 victories, 5 defeats from Curitiba, Ghana, Brazil. Introducing Goichi Yamauchi. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Mike Beltran.
Mike Beltran is the third man in the Bellator MMA cage as we get set for action in the 155-pound division.
All right, gentlemen, first round. Ready to fight? You ready to fight? Head up, let's go.
The belt and round one, Yamauchi in the red gloves, Gonzalez in the blue. Yamauchi taking an L in his last fight, a fight against Dan Moret, which most observers thought Yamauchi won. He says he doesn't want to leave it in the judges' hands again after last time, and instead of his hands, Gonzalez going to the kick route.
Well, Gonzalez has got good stand-up now. All that training at Team Alpha Male. He's becoming very comfortable in the stand-up with Danny Castillo and all the guys teaching him. He's always got that wrestling that he can fall back on.
Yeah, began wrestling as a freshman in high school, a 6-time Greco-Roman All-American and a 2016 Greco-Roman World Team member, but putting his striking on display early as Yamauchi goes upstairs with a kick, and there's an outside leg kick by Gonzalez. And really, thus far in his career, Gonzalez has showcased his elite wrestling along with brutal ground and pound striking. Question is, do you want to go to the ground against the guy with the most submissions in Bellator MMA history, and a guy with 20 submissions out of his 25 wins?
Nice hard kick to the body by Goichi. You're right, it is the question, but in talking with Chris, he says, look, I go to the ground with Chris Holsworth all the time. He's a great black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's right, but everybody's style is different. When you start to get used to someone, you kind of get that edge on how to stop what they do. Goichi is the guy that everyone thinks that they can handle on the ground. All of a sudden, they're down there, and then they're tapping out, so he needs to be careful.
Both fighters mixing it up in the offensive department, a blend of punches and kicks as Yamauchi goes upstairs again, but kicked the arm of the shoulder of Gonzalez. But Yamauchi putting the pressure on Gonzalez. Inside leg kick, and
as you're watching, take a look at those
jumping knee by Yamauchi.
Take a look at those kicks and look at the way they're landing. One's landing with a lot more power than the other right now. Yamauchi's got a lot more on his kicks than Chris does.
And Gonzalez, though, scoring upstairs, including that nice 1-2 combination.
Nice movement, nice head movement by Chris. That's a nice kick to the body.
And for two guys that are noted for their ground game, the wrestling of Gonzalez as Yamauchi stuffed that takedown attempt in the submission game of Yamauchi. We're seeing some high-level striking here in the first round.
Oh, absolutely. Yamauchi.
Nice lead left uppercut by Yamauchi, lighting up Gonzalez, and Gonzalez returns fire.
Most of the time, what happens, you do not see Goichi Yamauchi going for takedowns. What normally happens is he starts to do well in the stand-up, and all of a sudden guys decide, I'm going to take him down. That leads them from...
And then he takes their backs and gets 13 rear naked chokes on his resume. But boy, these two are going back and forth. Counter right hook by Gonzalez from the southpaw stance using lateral movement. Yamauchi with a 3-punch combination culminating with a left hook behind the guard. Oh, right uppercut by Yamauchi.
Yamauchi's landing with the more power right now. Both guys are touching, but Yamauchi's the one that's actually getting off the better shots.
And the uppercut has provided myriad highlight reel knockouts in boxing. Speaking of highlight reel KOs, down goes Gonzalez. Yamauchi's all over him, and Yamauchi picks up just his second victory via form of knockout. Mamma mia, what a start to Bellator 263.
You talk about the way to do it, but Yamauchi talked about how much he's been working on his grappling. And Look at that stand-up. It was clean, it was sharp, and you could see that he was landing the bigger shots throughout that first round.
Yes! Yes!
Watch this replay. Beautiful right hand straight down the middle. Watch this left hook, and then the right hand back again, right down the middle, and it puts Chris Gonzalez on the deck. And then he just starts opening up, and this is you don't see anything from Chris to stop what's occurring. Take again the right hand, kind of stuns him a little bit, left and right down the middle. That puts him down. That was a big shot Chris absorbed, but he wasn't able to do anything to show that he was going to change the position. Mike Beltran, the referee, sees it up.
The Lion sleeps tonight as Goichi Yamauchi hands Chris the Lion Gonzalez his first professional loss, as Goichi Yamauchi now 26-5, 22 finishes, and again, just his second knockout victory. His first came way back in 2013 at Bellator 109 when he stopped Saul Almeida in the opening round. Let's make it official with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 3 minutes, 53 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, Goichi Yamauchi.
Here's Big John McCarthy.
Goichi Yamauchi, that was a beautiful performance. You talked before that you had really been working on your ground game, but knew that you were going to be in a stand-up battle here against Chris. Let's talk about what he was doing and how you were countering his strikes.
Well, I knew that Chris Gonzalez is a tough grappler, so that's why I told that you know, my training camp was all developed to be ready and prepared for his wrestling background. But it looks like when more I train grappling, the more, becomes more striking the fight. So that's what happened today.
Let's talk about halfway through that first round. You just started landing the heavier strikes. Strike after strike, you were both connecting at times, but yours were much heavier. Could you see that it was taking an effect on him?
Yes, I unfortunately, in my fights, I cannot, develop in my striking abilities and during the fight, but when I fight grapplers, that's the good point, facing a grappler, because the fight becomes more striking than grappling, because both fighters, they respect each other's ground, and that's what happened. I think people will see more often Goichi is striking in the game.
Well, sounds good to me. That was a beautiful performance. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Goichi Yamauchi.
What's up, LA? Thank you. I love you guys.
And they are returning the love. Goichi Yamauchi, lots to love in his performance tonight. He fought like he's soon going to have an extra mouth to feed. He and his girlfriend Isabella expecting the birth of their first child, Eduardo, in January of next year, looking to move up the rankings as he hands Chris Gonzalez his first L. Let's go back to Jen Brown.
Well, thanks, Mar. Hey, you got to love that. Our most submission specialist in all of Bellator picking up his second knockout tonight. That's the way you kick off the night.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had a dominant performance, but exactly what we thought happened. Chris was afraid to use his wrestling because he knew of the submissions, and he just wasn't comfortable enough on his feet, or as comfortable as Goichi was.
Yeah, Goichi looked awesome on his feet. He's very relaxed. He was poised, picked his shots, and that combo at the end was brilliant. So, it's he's fun to watch. He's obviously fun to watch on the ground, but look what he's doing on the feet now.
Well, he told us that he usually works his striking. This fight, he prepared use it as his wrestling, but didn't need to use striking. Use it. That was great. All right, well, still to come, our main event of the evening. It's going to be a great one, guys, because when AJ McKee was 12 years old, he wrote himself $1 million check, and tonight he has the opportunity to make good on that dream. Now, he told us this week that his entire life has led him to this moment, and he is ready to show the world what he has known all along.
Let's get it.
Patricio Pitbull is the best pound-for-pound fighter in all of Bellator. Now, for him tonight, this fight is personal. Now, he is looking to take away the greatest threat to his legacy and have AJ McKee pay a price for everything that he has said in the last 5 years. Well, it began with 16 of the best featherweights in the world. It was narrowed down to 8, and then we added a little twist.
Welcome to Bellator MMA's Featherweight World Grand Prix Selection Show. Here we go, AJ McKee.
Flawless victory, December. Let's get it. Whoever won it, winner, chicken dinner. I'm ready to cook them up in a pot.
AJ, you make sure you bring that skillet, boy, because I'm about to scramble your eggs. Who wants to fight me?
I think everybody wants to fight him.
You are a loser. Pedro Cavallo.
All right.
The bracket is locked, loaded, and ready to launch. Here we go.
To the bottom.
Oh, the tap out. McKee forces Derek Campos to capitulate.
The round goes on.
It is all over. Just like that. AJ McKee.
Wow.
Oh, and again. And it is all over. Patricio Pitbull remains the featherweight world champion.
And Pitbull pounces on Sanchez. Pitbull looking for that trademark guillotine. He is out.
Number one in the world.
Patricio Pitbull, AJ McKee will battle to determine who will win the $1 million bonus check and who will be able to claim themselves the greatest featherweight.
Both fighters tore through their opponents in the Grand Prix. And Josh, when you look at these numbers, the one thing that stands out to me is that AJ McKee, he spent half the amount of the time in the cage than the champ did. So I'm curious, like, is it fair to say that one was more dominant than the other in this situation?
No, absolutely not. It was not fair to say that, Jen. But what I would say is this, though, is that AJ McKee, being as dominant as he has been, he's never been to the championship rounds. Patricio's been there multiple times. He's defended his title multiple times. And so really it comes down to the experience of AJ McKee. If this does get into the 4th and the 5th round, how will he handle it? Will he be able to handle the pressure? And can Patricio put him on his back foot to take away that athleticism?
Yeah, the 5-round deal is a great point, because if you haven't been in there, you don't know how to conserve your energy, when to use it. Do you go out, and if you see something the first round, do you throw everything at it, potentially burn your arms out, and if you haven't felt what it's like in the 4th and 5th round, you have no idea. Pitbull's been there a million times, and maybe AJ will be fine with it. We'll see, his tactics and what he brings into that first round.
I'm looking forward to it, guys. It's going to be a great one. All right, well, coming up later tonight, we've got the former lightweight champ, Brent Primus. He's going to take on a new face for Bellator, Usman Nurmagomedov. Now, Islam hasn't lost in over 12 years. He's 19-1. Josh, you trained with him a lot. What makes him so dangerous?
He's good all the way around. He's dominant from the top position. He's got great wrestling. He stalks after you, forces you to take horrible shots, and if he is, he sprawls and brawls on top of you. Okay, he touches you with his hands and throw that inside leg kick or the head kick. He's very good. He's very controlled. He's a technician. Okay, but the one thing that I would be concerned with him, with Brent Primus, is that if he does get the fight to the ground, he's a very controlling person. So he's got to be very careful not to open up too much so he doesn't get caught with the submission.
Yeah, I know a lot about top control. That's big part of my game. And what he's looking for there, he's looking to get in a position where he can open up. For me personally, I like to get, the little bar arm and have their legs spread so they're pinned down. And once I get there, that's when I want to open up. So look for him to find his position, which, he likes, and ready to rain down some ground and pound. But he's got to be careful in that, because Primus is so strong, but he's very flexible too.
Well, and he's also very good on his back. He's so dangerous on the ground as well. But the question, Josh, I have is, we know that he's comfortable on his back, but how important is it for him to get back up if he's in those situations where he's not able to get those submissions?
It's extremely important for him to get up off of his back. If the submissions are not there, he needs to abandon that. Like you said earlier, is basically, if he has to, go to his knees, start to work to get back to his feet. You cannot allow minutes, seconds, minutes, and the rounds to tick away by laying on your back trying to chase submissions that are not there.
And sometimes it's nice to lay on your back and get the breath back. A lot of people do that. They sit there and recuperate, and by the time you know it, there's only 30 seconds left on the clock, and you lost that whole round. So he's a powerful guy. Get back to your knees, get up, get it back to the feet if it's going wrong on the ground.
Well, when we talked to Islam this week, he said that his biggest advantage will be his wrestling tonight. He said, I train with the best in the world, and we know who he's all talking about.
The one thing that could be a difference maker, though, is Brent Primus's leg kicks. That will take away some of the potential of the wrestling.
We talked about Primus's leg kicks there because we saw how effective they were against Michael Chandler. When we asked him this week if he was going to use this, he said absolutely. I assume that's the right game plan, Josh?
Yeah, so the way I feel is that Islam will actually stalk after him, but Islam will not throw a lot of combinations. So Brent Primus, if he gets early onto the leg, I think that will make a difference on the amount of takedowns that Islam will be able to attempt. Okay, and then if he's able to do that, as you can see with Brent Primus, if he does get taken down from the leg kick, he's very aggressive off of his back, but he cannot settle there.
No, I mean, we saw the fight in the prelims. He attacked his calf. And he literally could not put weight on that calf, and that's where all your power comes from, shooting and whatnot. So attacking that leg early on will pay dividends, as the rounds go on.
Yeah, Brent Primus is nasty on the neck, he's nasty on top, and he's got vicious ground and pound, but he cannot settle from the bottom. He's dominant, he's strong, and he actually evils out Islam very well.
Well, the question is can he show Islam something he hasn't seen before? That is the question, and, well, it's time to find out. Let's go back down to Mo.
All right, former Bellator MMA lightweight champion Brent Primus looking to provide a stern litmus test to Bellator MMA newcomer, 21-fight veteran Usman Nurmagomedov.
And now set to make his way to the cage, Usman Nurmagomedov.
Usman Nurmagomedov, 32 years of age, a part of the Dagestani invasion taking place within Bellator MMA and the entire sport right now. I know they've been around a while, but over the last few years, they have really begun to surge in all of the world-class promotions. Usman Nurmagomedov with 13 finishes out of his 19 wins.
Well, part of that is just the way they train. They train their butts off, and it shows.
And now making his way, Brent Primus.
At the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, June 2017, Bellator 180. Brent Primus became Bellator lightweight champion, dethroning Michael Chandler when Chandler suffered an injury. Chandler would regain the strap in the rematch at Bellator 212 in December of 2018, but since then, Primus has bounced back with a couple of victories, but John, inactivity is the story of his career. Only 8 fights over the last 8 years.
It's the only thing that I can complain about Brent Primus, and I talked to him about it. I said, what is it? Why are you not fighting more? He goes, it just ends up being that way. I want to. Everything's there. I train for a fight, and then it gets pulled. So he's saying, I want to fight at least 3 times this year. Let's see it happen.
And let's see what the numbers of the tail of the tape tell us for this lightweight confrontation.
Take a look at those records, Morrow. 10-1 for Brent Primus. We talked about it. He doesn't fight enough. 19-1-1 for Usman Nurmagomedov.
Compelling contest at 155 with the official introductions. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA Live on Showtime continues now in the lightweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first, the blue corner. At 5'11", weighing in 154.9 pounds, making his Bellator debut, he brings a professional record with 19 wins, just 1 loss and 1 draw. Fighting out of Mahatskala, Dagestan, Russia, Usman Nurmagomedov. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. At 5'10", weighing in 155.2 pounds, the former Bellator lightweight lightweight world champion returns with 10 professional victories, only 1 defeat, fighting out of Portland, Oregon, introducing Brent Primus. In charge of the action, referee Blake Grice.
Blake Grice will be in charge of the refereeing duties for this lightweight matchup. Brent Primus comes in with a chip on his shoulder. Wants top 10 ranked opposition. Nurmagomedov making his debut, and boy, everything to gain against a former champion. High risk, low reward for Primus, but he wants to extend his winning streak, and he wants another crack at lightweight gold. Primus in the red gloves, Nurmagomedov in the blue gloves.
You're absolutely right about that high risk, low reward, because a lot of people don't know Nurmagomedov. This guy can fight. He is good everywhere. He's very calculated, takes his time. He is someone that you have to deal with in the wrestling and in the stand-up.
Primus, 8-1 in Bellator. Lone defeats 2. Former champion Michael Chandler. And Nurmagomedov bouncing up and down, looking to collect that data from Primus. Primus fainting. Nurmagomedov training with the greatest lightweight of all time, Nurmagomedov, who's in his corner. He's also trained with Usman Nurmagomedov, who is coming up next as he will fight Manny in our 3rd lightweight fight of the card.
Yeah, well, what you're looking at here right now is take a look at the movement, little tiny movements by Islam. You're talking about Javier Mendez and Khabib in his corner. You can't get any better than that. But they're not in the cage with him. And so Brent Primus only has to deal with Islam and what he's doing. And he needs to make sure that he gets inside of that range of Islam Nurmagomedov.
Primus under the tutelage of Fabiano Schurter at American Top Team Portland and Performance Martial Arts as Nurmagomedov landed the right hand. Double jab, just as the corner asked for, and then just missed with the right hand. There's a calf kick countered by the right hand from Nurmagomedov.
The one problem when you're watching Primus, a lot of the time he starts to settle in and he'll keep his head on that center line. Does not get a lot of head movement. He doesn't move it off center line, so he needs to be careful with that.
Nurmagomedov's like, okay, enough of those punches to the head. I'm going to close the distance. And now he's got Primus along the fence. Nurmagomedov, a former combat sambo world champion.
Nice job by Primus to pummel inside. He's got double unders. The question is, what can he do from this position? Primus on the ground is a monster. This guy is so good with his submission skills. He can take on anybody on the ground.
All 8 wins by KO or submission for Primus have come in the first round, but Nurmagomedov turns the tables and Primus is on his back where he is comfortable, looking for the double plata, but defended by Nurmagomedov in the transition to the omoplata.
Saw right away, going to the double plata, and that's exactly what you have when you're talking about dealing with Brent Primus. He doesn't just stay in one position. He's going to move, and that's what he's got to do. What he cannot do is settle for being underneath Nurmagomedov and not attacking.
He submitted Tim Wild via gogoplata at Bellator Birmingham in May 2019. Under 2 minutes left now in the opening round. And again,
see it wrong for that.
Omoplata again. Nurmagomedov doing his own work.
And the real difference is, right now, Nurmagomedov not that slick from sweat. As this goes on, those are going to slip off a lot faster.
Salient point as always from Big John McCarthy. 1.5 minutes left in the first frame. Of course, Patricio Pitbull, also the Bellator MMA lightweight champion. He has other business to tend to later tonight in the main event. Taking care of his featherweight championship duties against A.J. McKee. And meanwhile,
Primus again coming up, looking either for a gogoplata, if he can get that across the neck, or swing that into that omoplata. Right now he's going after the omoplata. He's got that arm fairly deep. You see, nice job by Islam Nurmagomedov to pull that arm out.
Final minute of the first round. Some Good stuff on the ground here as Brent Primus really trying his best to get that submission from bottom position.
What you're seeing is all that movement and all those, you know, the omoplata attempts by Primus is stopping the offensive attack of Mamedov.
And really, Mamedov unable to do much from top position because of that, John, and now working from the open guard of Primus. But Primus doing a good job of controlling his posture and neutralizing his offense.
Primus once again trying to bring that leg up.
My goodness.
I think he's actually trying to go towards a go-go plata.
He's a contortionist.
He is very flexible for a big guy.
And the first 5 minutes have elapsed at Bellator 263's third lightweight fight of the night.
First coach.
He's trying to stall, right? So this time, man, hey, we got to get up quicker. Make him fight and scramble. He tries that takedown, get up. Let the takedown, get up. Open up that jab. Double the jab. Bang him with those punches. You already hit him a couple of times. He got scared a little bit, right? That's why he ran that takedown, right? So if he does get you down, man, up right away. Don't let him stall you out. That's all he wants to do is hold you down.
You escape from omoplata, step on the hip on the side of omoplata, push him away, get up. Okay?
Very, very good information from the corner of Brent Primus. You got Colin Oyama there giving him ideas in the stand-up, and his main trainer, Fabiano Skinner, telling, look, if you're going to go for that omoplata and he's going to try to pull out, I need you to push off and get back to your feet.
And Primus has spent a lot of time in Irvine, California, training with Team Oyama. Has picked up a lot from the veteran trainer as we begin round number 2 of this lightweight matchup between the former Bellator 155-pound champion Brent Primus and the newcomer from Dagestan, Usman Nurmagomedov. And Big John McCarthy's unofficial scorecard has Primus ahead as Nurmagomedov was looking to close the show in spectacular fashion with that jumping knee.
He was definitely going after it. You got to like that. That's what you want to see out of him. Maybe the reason that I had Primus winning that in the first round was he had some big strikes that he landed. Nurmagomedov didn't land a whole lot. And although Nurmagomedov got the takedown, he was defending more than Primus was. He was the guy that was actually on defense a lot of time, even though he's in the top position. Nice takedown by
Nurmagomedov, but immediately back up to their feet as Primus and Nurmagomedov jockeying for position, pummeling, trying desperately to get dominant position in this game of inches.
And Nurmagomedov showing just the complexity of the wrestling that he possesses. Those throws, that normally doesn't work against someone like Primus, but he's just got a technique that Primus hasn't felt before.
Nurmagomedov undefeated in his last 19 fights. He feels what separates him from other fighters is that he trains with the best in the world, and we talk about that power couple in the corner of Nurmagomedov and Javier Mendez. I mean, AKA a championship factory, including our own Josh Thompson.
Yes, you have to include Josh. He's one of the guys that started that. Primus doing a good job of just slowly working the leg. Make it so he's slower when he goes for those takedown attempts. Don't let him have that strength. Nice elbow coming up by Primus.
2 minutes gone here in the second round, and Primus now putting the pressure. And again, that judo throw by Nurmagomedov into side control.
Nice Haragosh by Nurmagomedov. Beautiful job of getting Primus to the ground. Now he needs to stay in this side control position or go to a half guard.
9 of Nurmagomedov's 19 wins have come via submission, including 7 arm bars. Now back to the card of Primus, and Primus now looking for that go-go plata. Looking for a second go-go plata win, but Nurmagomedov continues to remain calm, John, from top position and continue to try to do some damage.
Mamedov understands all of these positions. He knows what he's throwing up. He's doing a good job of defending against it, but he needs to figure out, how do I become offensive against this guy? Because what you got to love about Primus right now, take a look where his legs are. Feet on the hips. He's in a position to actually attack. That's what you're looking for. It makes it much rougher on Mamedov.
I think Primus is capable of having his legs be anywhere he wants. I mean, incredible flexibility for a heavily muscled fighter, as again John goes to work.
Very nice job of Mamedov to get his arm out from the leg. Again, feet on the hips. Well, what Primus needs to start thinking about now, well, since I'm having a hard time getting that omoplata stuff, like his corner told him, if you start to go for this and he starts to pull away, then start to push off and stand up.
Omoplata by Primus, but Mamedov relieving the pressure.
And it was that Primus was not able to get that arm over the top of the back there to hold him down in that position. That's why Mamedov's able to work his way out and straight and get that arm free.
But Mamedov has to do more here from top position, and I know.
Again, look at the
it's all Primus
offense. There's no real offense. Little shots to the body are not going to do anything.
All the offense is coming from Primus on the body.
Right now he's going for a Kimura. He's digging on that, trying to swing his hips through.
Looking for his first Kimura submission. He has 4 rear naked chokes, the gogoplata we mentioned, and a neck crank, but he is really doing a great job from his back, and Mamedov unable to get on track.
See, again,
this is one strike to the body.
And it's not a hard strike. You're talking about, when we talk about strikes, there's no body behind it. You can't push off of the floor, so it's an arm punch. There's nothing really there. Mamedov has to start becoming offensive. He's done nothing after getting a beautiful hard gauche to get this fight to the ground. There's been no offense really from him.
Bella, looking forward to Showtime Sports lineup this summer? Well, here's how you will never miss a fight. Well, Usman Nurmagomedov's offense was MIA in that first round, John, thanks to the active guard game of Brent Primus as we get set for the second stanza. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. This is not about who's on top. This is about who is the one controlling the action, who is the one trying to do things to finish the fight. Right now, I don't have Usman Nurmagomedov doing a whole lot of things other than beautiful takedowns to get that job done.
Ready, fight.
Takedown is one thing. It's what you do with that takedown that counts. And second round is underway. Both looking for the kick. And Primus slips and Nurmagomedov pounces. But again, it's Primus immediately to that rubber guard, looking again for either a gogoplata or an omoplata.
Now, right now, based upon where he's at without the fence, see how he's trying to bring it back.
High fight IQ.
That's smart on Islam because he can use that to control the head position of Primus. Nice job of Islam stacking him up. Now we just want to see some offense out of him.
Nurmagomedov started training when he was 7 years old, started with wrestling. Master of sports in combat sambo, a mentioned world champion as well in the combat sambo. And the crowd, you know what? It's even nice to hear the boos. Not really.
Primus again going to rubber guard. Looking at this mission control position, he's got Nurmagomedov's head down. There's not a whole lot of offense. He's going for the omoplata.
And the crowd needs to appreciate what Brent Primus is doing.
Brent Primus is being busy. He's trying. But he needs to switch the attack. He's
very predictable.
When you keep going back to that well, the same thing. Now you are predictable. You need to change it up, get yourself back to your feet, or do something different to attack.
Well, he's trying to go for the double wrist lock. Shout out catch can wrestler Josh Barnett.
Okay. More like Carl Gotch.
Josh Barnett, another former broadcast partner. Got to give him some love. As we got Primus looking to try to finish Nurmagomedov from bottom position, but Nurmagomedov, all he's doing is just falling back down into top position, but doing absolutely nothing with it.
Well, not a whole lot. I mean, he's throwing little shots here.
Little shots.
But there's just not a whole lot of big.
And you talk about the numbers. You give numbers to shots and punches in terms of scoring.
Well, especially in this type of matchup, when you're looking, it's a matter of I gotta think, I gotta be busy, I gotta look like I'm doing something to finish this fight. Nurmagomedov again trying to step over that leg. He cannot get past the guard. Primus's guard is too good as far as him being able to step past that leg. He ends up back in the full guard, and you see him get off-centered by Primus.
And we know, of course, with Nurmagomedov in top position, a lot of fans might think, okay, he's winning the round. A lot of judges may think so. And
well, right now,
from my vantage point, he is controlling it.
At least what you're seeing with him posted up with his head over the top of Brent Primus, he's trying to do things to try to get some power on the shots. That's important. It's just that Primus is very good off his back.
He's very good at defending. There's a short elbow strike from the bottom. Nurmagomedov smothering Primus against the fence, but it's Primus who remains more active.
And again, you see Nurmagomedov trying to pass the guard, finally gets that half guard position now. But again, that arm is in position where now he's going to try to hold on. And Primus is going to start to swing him right back into a full guard.
Minute and a half left in the fight.
Nurmagomedov trying to use his knee to get Primus's grip broken on his arm.
Nurmagomedov has never been submitted in 21 previous contests.
I don't think he's going to get submitted here in this one either, not based upon his ability to continually be smart and get his way out of these Plata attempts. Again, there it is. But he keeps going back to the same thing, and you got to change it up. Once it hasn't worked, well, then figure out something else. Now attack for the leg lock. Let's go.
Under a minute left in the fight.
Legs inside. Let go of that Plata. Reach the leg inside. Entwine the leg. Go for it.
Meanwhile, Nurmagomedov, no sense of urgency, trying to defend here. Being very patient in terms of, and probably smart to do so, but man, there has to be a serious uptick in his offense, and time now, a critical factor under 30 seconds left.
Big factor right now.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the three judges here in California are going to score this fight.
This fight could go in any direction. I can see them giving it to Nurmagomedov. I can see them giving it to Primus, because it just depends on what you're giving that credit to.
And it will come down to the three judges at cage side to determine a winner of this lightweight matchup between the former Bellator lightweight champion Brent Primus and Bellator MMA newcomer Usman Nurmagomedov. Hey, Bellator MMA is proud to share the screen with Showtime's critically acclaimed premium entertainment. Let's see what's coming up on Showtime.
You love the game. The chance to take someone else's power for yourself. You can't deny that would feel good.
You never take me down.
You got hurt, we hurt back.
How?
You say we're partners? Then trust me.
Can we trust anybody?
This is my world now.
What do you want us to do? Light his ass up, Joan of Arc style.
This is when the fun starts for me.
This case is poisoning my town.
Just do your job, and I'll watch out for you.
The oath we all took together was we'd do this for each other. I've always had my demons
and so I went away.
So, Jumbo?
But sometimes I have an urge too strong to ignore.
Oh, easy there.
Problem? I kind of have a thing about blood.
So great to have Dexter return to a Showtime as we await the result of this lightweight matchup. Usman Nurmagomedov looking to score the biggest win of his career, while Brent Primus wants to remain in the hunt for another crack at Bellator MMA Gold. Speaking of MMA Gold, Chris Cyborg, the Bellator featherweight champion, in attendance here tonight, watching her Bellator MMA brethren do battle. All right, Michael C. Williams has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your three judges at cageside. Your first judge, Marcel Varela, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Nurmagomedov. Your second judge, Salvamano, 29-28. He sees the fight for Primus. Your third and final judge at cageside, Brian Miner, scores the fight 29-28 for the winner by split decision, Usman Nurmagomedov.
You said it could go either way, and why do you think it went Usman Nurmagomedov's direction in his Bellator MMA debut?
Let's just be honest, it went that way because of the judges are looking at a guy on top, and they're giving more credit to him just being in that position than what he's actually doing. I gave it to Primus 29-28, but I told you I could see this going the opposite way.
Another victory for the Dagestani Dynamos. Let's go back to Jen Brown at the fight desk.
Well, thanks, Maura. Still to come in our main event, Patricio Pitbull, the holder of both Bellator featherweight and lightweight titles, has the most fights, wins, and overall finishes in Bellator history. Tonight, he will face the greatest test of his career in the form of a young, highly touted phenom with a perfect record in the cage. Well, AJ McKee has been calling for this fight for years, saying he's been preparing for Patricio since the beginning of his career, and now he is one win away from showing the world that he is the future of this sport.
We're in the gym all day. Twice a day, 3 times a day. Go to the gym just to be in the gym. So it's like, when you get to just step away and take the family out and have a good time.
Black burned up crispy, I ain't getting in that water.
Not worry about what's coming up, what's gonna happen. You're just in that moment.
In the middle, because I feel like that's the least wet place.
Those are like the most cherishable moments. It's the rush, man. It's the rush of life. It's like the laughter, having everybody there, just enjoying that moment.
He came out of his mother's womb, kicking and punching, right off the bat, just kicking and punching, kicking and punching. He didn't grow up with all the finest things in life, but he grew up knowing that he was loved by his dad.
Training with my dad, there's a lot of ups and downs.
I'm walking on noodles right now. How you think I said no kicking in this sport?
But we've got the chemistry, just being able to follow his footsteps and wanting to be better than him, you know? That's every parent's job, is to make their offspring better. When I'm in that cage, it's like that's my moment. It's like my God-given gift to be able to read people and break them down and figure out how to get rid of them. That's where I want to be. Like, that's what I love to do.
These are the greats!
Finally getting this tournament to where it's at, being in the finals, and Patricio Pitbull still holding 2 titles. It's all here. It's time to show up and show out. This is where all the hard work has been put in. And go shock the world. And that's what I'm waiting for, is that one opportunity to expose him. He's been the champion since I first stepped in this cage 17 fights ago.
There's the tap and the victory for AJ McKee in his pro mixed martial arts debut.
I see that monster. He's got a beast in there. He's hard hitting and he's gonna go for it, but I just feel that, just that little sense of fear. He knows I'm younger, I'm faster, I'm stronger.
And the longest win streak in Bellator history continues.
It's just the beginning of what's really yet to come.
The best is just being able to hold that title. It's for my family, it's for the team, it's to prove people wrong. It's to prove people right. But most of all, I would say it's for me.
He has been sublime.
To welcome the world into seeing who I am.
Well, we have seen who AJ is for a while now. Josh, I remember you saying very early on that this kid was the real deal. So what is it, even back then, that you saw in him that led you to believe that he could be our next champ?
His mentality. I don't want to say cockiness, his arrogance. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say his confidence. His confidence was key in any sport. It could be football, basketball, tennis. I don't care. You need confidence, and he does not lack that. And one thing I love about him is that he doesn't just use his athleticism. He's always trying to refine his craft. And you want to know why? Because of his father. He talked about that with his father. His father was an amazing fighter. I was scheduled to fight his father several times. It just didn't work out. His father was extremely talented, a great wrestler, and people avoided him. Promotions avoided signing because he was so dominant in wrestling. AJ gets it from his father, and it's going to carry on. We're going to see if he can get it done tonight.
I love the way he approaches, fighting in individual fights, and confidence is key. He's a little brash, but he backs it up. He's extremely fun to watch. He's one of, my favorite fighters to watch here in Bellator, just making up stuff and going out there and putting it all on the line. So it is that confidence. It's a mentality that usually comes with more veteran fighters, but he's out there doing it at his age.
Well, it's so true, because at 26 years old, it's so impressive what he's been able to accomplish here in Bellator. I mean, he's done such a great job at establishing himself among the greats. You look here, I think we can all agree that there is so much more to come to AJ's career. It's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, ESPN had him last year during the COVID time. They had him #1 on their list as being the best featherweight in the world, or best fighter, under 25 years old. ESPN had him that. That says a lot. That's a lot to live up to, and here he is now living up to it.
We're going to see it tonight. All right, well, coming up next, the undefeated Usman Nurmagomedov. He's going to put his 12-0 record on the line when he steps into the cage with a newly focused Manny Muro. Now, Usman, he comes from that famous Nurmagomedov wrestling background. Manny known for that no-quit, come-forward style. So, Josh, how do you feel like these two match up inside the cage tonight?
Look, there's a lot of things that I can say about Manny Muro, and there's a lot of things I can say about Usman. But Usman is the real deal. His undefeated record doesn't just carry him that way because of his family, because of the people he trains with. He's a hard worker. He's got great kicks. People talk about, you had said it earlier, oh, but he's got kind of those slappy kicks. Guess what? There's weight behind him, though. And those kicks, though, they come up and they sneak up on you, and he hides them really well behind his hands, as you can see here. What it does, when he fought Mike Hamill, he was touching Mike Hamill with the hands, and every time Mike Hamill circled away, he would throw the kick to finish it off. And when he didn't need to, he would go ahead and get into the clincher. He'd circle out and change the combination. He is extremely talented. He's wise beyond his years. He has a great team surrounding him. I'm telling you right now, he's the real deal.
He definitely, I feel he's technically superior, but Manny has heart and drive, and we've seen it in his interviews here. Usman has lit a fire under him that he used to cut corners, and now he's all in, has done everything to prepare himself, to be the best Manny out there tonight. And so, like I was saying about those kicks, he needs to block those kicks, come at him, and throw his hands when he's throwing those kicks.
Well, Manny says, he goes, I need to get in his face. I need to make him feel uncomfortable and then capitalize when he makes mistakes. How does he do that, Josh?
He fights him in a phone booth. He's got to take away those kicks. As you can see here against Nick Newell, he presses him to the fence and he's piecing up. He's feeling confident enough to leave his feet against Nick Newell. He's just kept touching him and kept touching him. Got the takedown, dominated some top position. Okay, and you see here, he catches the leg, sweeps the leg, straight Karate Kid style. Sweep the leg, Manny Muro. So he just did a great job. He stands in the pocket. If he can stand in the pocket and deliver some great combinations, and take away the kicks of Usman and make him fight him in a phone booth because Usman is so long. I think he has a chance to be successful.
Make it gritty and dirty fight.
That's all we want. All right, well, Manny told us this week that this is the fight that is going to change his life. He said the Nurmagomedovs, they don't lose, and so for me to be the first one to hand him a loss, well, it's going to be incredible. But will Usman taste his first defeat? That is the question. Now it's time to find out. Mo, back down to you.
All right, Jen, yes, the third of our lightweight contest here at Bellator 263. The undefeated Usman Nurmagomedov, 12-0, taking on the 12-6 Manny the Dragon Muro.
On his way now to the cage, this is Manny the Dragon Muro.
The 34-year-old Muro, a proud member of the Kiowa tribe in Oklahoma. He wants to be that Native American that really does it in the sport of MMA, wants to be an MMA ambassador for his people. He is 3-0 inside the Bellator MMA cage, coming off a unanimous decision victory over Devin Powell at Bellator 252 in November of last year. A self-effacing individual and a man who is really committed to just representing his people.
Oh, he's all about, you know, the people understand exactly who he comes from, where he's at, and he wants people to know that at this point, I'm 100% in. I'm going to give everything I have in every fight. I train hard now. I train for my opponents. I cannot wait for Mr. Nurmagomedov.
Muro says the thing that he really hangs his hat on is that he's a really hard worker, may not be the best athlete, may not come in super shredded or muscular or anything like that, but he believes no one can outwork him.
Set now to make his way, Usman Nurmagomedov.
BJM, stop me if you've heard this before. Mixed martial artist from Dagestan. Usman Nurmagomedov, the cousin of the former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov, who will be in his corner. In fact, his family tree full of mixed martial artists.
Well, I'm telling you right now, he is the full package. Josh Thompson was talking about it, how good he is. He is every bit as good as Josh was talking about. His wrestling is good. His stand-up is great. His ground and pound is nasty. I will tell you that. If he uses his wrestling, when he gets on top, look out. He hits you with big shots.
Trained alongside Khabib and Khabib's late father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, from an early age. Just his second fight here in the United States after a successful Bellator debut against Mike Hamill at Bellator 255 in April of this year. All right, BJM, let's take a look at the 4-1-1 for this lightweight matchup.
You gotta look, if there's one thing to look at, man, it's a 12-0 record and everything, but it's 23 years of age. That shows how young Usman is, but he is wise beyond those years. 34 for Manny Muro. We'll see if he can use that age difference as an advantage.
From BJM to MCW.
From the iconic LA Forum Live on Showtime, Bellator MMA stays right here in the 155-pound division for a lightweight feature scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds as we introduce the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 156 pounds even, his professional record, 12 wins, 6 losses, fighting out of Anadarko, Oklahoma, Manny the Dragon. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 155.3 pounds, coming off a successful Bellator debut. He remains undefeated now with 12 professional victories, no defeats, fighting out of Mahatska, Dagestan, Russia, introducing Usman Nurmagomedov. In charge of referee Frank Trigg.
Former Pride FC broadcast partner of mine, Frank Trigg, now a respected referee who gets the assignment in this Critical lightweight matchup, undefeated Nurmagomedov and the undefeated in Bellator MMA, Manny Muro, both, in fact, unbeaten inside the Bellator MMA cage. And at the top of the telecast, I mentioned that we were following LA County COVID protocols and the mask mandate. Well, it's not being strongly enforced here at the Forum tonight, so don't at me, people. And it's Usman Nurmagomedov in the red gloves, Manny the Dragon Muro in the blue gloves.
Nice
kick.
Quick kick by Usman up top. Manny, this is what Manny has to do. He has to put that pressure.
Oh, what a kick by Nurmagomedov, and Muro ate that one.
This is what we're talking about when we're talking about Usman. He is slick. He is good. He's good at range. Uses that length well. He's fast.
And another kick by Nurmagomedov, and Muro gets taken down.
There's that wrestling. Look how slick he is, right to the back. And he needs to be careful right here with his positioning.
Nurmagomedov with 3 submission wins, including a rear naked choke that came back in February of 2019, and now working from the back of Muro.
Usman right now would actually be smart to push off of that cage. That will help him get Manny to the ground if that's what he wants. Nice uppercut under the arm. When you can't see that shot coming, it does a lot of damage.
Manny Muro entering this fight with a heavy heart after recently losing his sister and biggest fan, Rain, to brain cancer. And I want to send our condolences to the Muro family as Nurmagomedov looking for that double leg takedown. Muro defending it. Tripod.
He defended it, but it was because Usman decided, I'm going to try to take your back at that point. He can pull it exactly what I'm saying.
He can pull it down.
Backside on that. Nice job by Nurmagomedov.
Nurmagomedov started training at Muay Thai at 7, then wrestling. Began training at MMA at 11 years old. Remember, I said an early age under the Nurmagomedov. Now to full mount on Muro, and Muro gives up his backs. Immediately Nurmagomedov putting in the hooks.
Muro trying to just get himself in a position where he is holding onto the arms. Nurmagomedov, make sure that he does not let that locking arm end up in a position where he's got one arm around the neck and then locks it down.
Nurmagomedov training in San Jose for this fight. He felt that his striking would be his biggest advantage. But he is doing a good job of controlling Muro on the ground.
Doing everything right now. Taking his time. You see Manny try to turn. There you go.
So the reversal by Muro now looking to perhaps try to take down Nurmagomedov, but well defended.
Nice job of digging that underhook by Usman Nurmagomedov. Trying to hook that leg again.
Knee strike to the belly by Nurmagomedov as they fight for position. The over-under by Muro, and now just trying to keep Nurmagomedov.
What
a knee strike! And Nurmagomedov knees Manny Muro into oblivion.
Right to the liver. You saw that knee strike come up, and he went down like he was shot.
Mamma mia, what a stoppage by Usman Nurmagomedov. He's now 13-0 with his 8th victory via form of knockout. And what a finish. And let's hope Manny Muro's okay.
That either hit right at the liver or on the ribs. That shot right across. You see it touch him, and he automatically goes down. It is hard to explain what that feeling is like, but it's like someone sticking a dagger in you. It is a horrible feeling. Usman hit him just right with that knee, and Manny was unable to do anything from that point. He is just waiting for the referee to stop it because he cannot move his body.
A virtuoso performance by Usman Nurmagomedov, making Manny Muro's liver quiver, paralyzing Muro's body, and unfortunately, Manny Muro tasting defeat for the first time here in Bellator MMA, falling to 3-1. But let's not bury the headline. Usman Nurmagomedov continues his way up in the Bellator MMA lightweight division. Would love to crack the top 10. Usman Nurmagomedov has only fought past the second round twice in his career. This one didn't get out of the first, and let's get the official announcement from Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to an end inside the Bellator cage officially. 3 minutes, 30 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, still undefeated, Usman Nurmagomedov.
Big John McCarthy will be speaking to our winner momentarily.
I think that's the first time I've seen him smile in a while here. Usman Nurmagomedov, that was just a beautiful performance for a guy that loves to stand up all the time. You decided to use your wrestling, you got him down to the ground, and it was in that exchange in the transition. That knee landed. Did you know when you landed it, it was over?
Поздравляем тебя с победой. Ты тот человек, который обычно дерешься в стойке. Сегодня ты показал нашу борьбу, перевел его, удерживал внизу и закончил бой досрочно. Что ты можешь сказать по этому поводу?
First, I want to say Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. God gave me everything. Alhamdulillah. По поводу... Да-да, салам алейкум. По поводу того, что... Я хотел просто показать людям, что я могу и бороться. Просто, я думаю, мои оппоненты забывают, что у меня хорошая борьба. Просто хотел им показать, что если они захотят, я буду с ними бороться. Если они хотят, я буду с ними в стойке драться. Мы развиты во всех аспектах.
Yeah, in this fight I wanted to make a statement. I want to show everyone that I can wrestle as well. I'm not only striking guy. I can wrestle, I can grapple, I can take the fight any way it goes. Yeah, and I believe I did the statement.
You've had 2 fights in the Bellator cage against 2 guys that are grinding type of fighters. Who is it that you would like to come into this cage next against?
Кого бы ты хотел вызвать на следующий бой? С кем бы ты хотел провести следующий бой и когда?
Я не знаю. Я особо не вдаваюсь в это, кто, с кем, как. Но я бы хотел драться на следующем турнире в Москве. Я думаю, там у меня еще больше аудитория и большая поддержка.
Yeah, I don't know with who, I don't care with who, I don't care when, where, but I would prefer to fight in the next event in Russia. I don't care who will be my opponent. Whoever Bellator will put across of me in the cage, I will fight him.
Well, I would love to see you in that event in Russia, and I want to tell you, congratulations on another beautiful performance.
Thank you so much for everybody. Thank you for support. I want to say thank you for my team, for my coach Javier. Thank you for everything, coach, for support me, for everything. You help all guys, and я бы хотел еще сказать.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, and I would like to thank my late coach Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. I'm very grateful for him. Without him, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be a fighter I am today.
That was a beautiful thing. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Usman Nurmagomedov.
The Russians from Dagestan continue to dominate. Usman Nurmagomedov now 13-0. And he is looking to surge up the 155-pound rankings. Let's go back to Jen Brown.
Well, thanks, Mauro. Great job there by Nurmagomedov, keeping that perfect record intact, picking up his 11th finish tonight inside the Bellator cage. I can't wait to see more from him. It was a spectacular performance. All right, well, tonight we will wrap up the Featherweight World Grand Prix. But let's not forget that there is another tournament already in progress. The light heavyweights have made it to the semifinals, and it was a road filled with knockouts, comebacks, and a rematch.
The highly anticipated light heavyweight World Grand Prix on Showtime began at Bellator 256 with Ryan Bader getting his revenge on Lyoto Machida with a dominant unanimous decision victory. The opening round continued at Bellator 257. Corey Anderson gave Doblajan Yagshimurudov a rude welcome to the Bellator cage in classic overtime style with a third-round TKO. Then, in the main event, light heavyweight world champion Vadim Nemcov defended his belt with a hard-fought, unanimous decision victory over Phil Davis for his 8th straight win.
And still, Bellator light heavyweight world champion.
The last spot of the semifinals was nailed down at Bellator 258 as Anthony Rumble Johnson survived a first-round onslaught by Jose Augusto to deliver a vicious second-round KO. It's now down to the final 4 in the light heavyweight World Grand Prix as Ryan Bader will battle Corey Anderson and Rumble Johnson challenges world champion Vadim Nemcov.
Well, joining Ryan Bader and I at the fight desk, his next opponent and former training partner, Corey Anderson. It's great to have you back with us. I know you've been trying to get back up here at the desk with us. All right, well, here we go. So, Corey, in your last fight, you put away someone who many would say was the dark horse in the tournament in Dovlashan Yagshimurudov. You got him put away with that ground and pound. How important was it for you to make a statement in that opening round?
I mean, it was super important to go there. When I came into the tournament, I said, I'm going to be the one to go do the ground and pound. I'm going to be the dark horse. Nobody expects me to do what I'm going to do. And I went out there and did exactly that against the guy everybody thought was going to smash me, this Russian killer. And I went out there and did exactly what I said I was going to do. Ground and pound, baby.
Well, Ryan, you saw what he was able to do. Does his power concern you? Is that something you're thinking about?
Corey looked good in that fight, but who was that guy? You call it dark horse, it's somebody that nobody knows. That's the thing. And that's volume, not power.
Yeah. They say who is that guy, but when you do the research and you see who he was in ACB, we all know ACB and the Russian organization, those guys, a lot of those guys come over, go to the UFC, they come to Bellator, and they kill the game. And this guy came over here, and they expected him to do the same thing here. Being on an 8-fight win streak, nobody thought he was going to lose here. All the people over in Turkey, they thought for sure he was going to come over and win this. And I'll go ahead and stop that hype real quick, chop him down like a lock and blood.
Well, I know you and Ryan trained together because you helped him prepare for his first fight against Phil Davis. It was early on in your career, but was there anything you took away from those early sessions that'll help you in this matchup?
Every practice, you know, not just from how well I do, but how bad I do. What things they get me with and what things I need to work on. At that time, I think he was fighting Phil Davis in the UFC. I was 25, and he did him in the Bellator. I was 27 or 28. So I was still young. And it helped me realize the things I had to do to become a better mixed martial artist. At the time, Ryan had already been in the top 5, top 3, whatever he was. So I went with him the first time I went. I knew in order for me to make it in the top of this organization, I have to be able to compete with guys like this and to hang with these guys. And I feel I did that and more. And then when I came back later on at 27, I've had those fights against Jan Blachowicz, who's the champ now. And we went, and I was more experienced, and I was more ready. I was more calm. And I feel like at that point, I knew I was a better mixed martial artist than him, and he was in Bellator, and I knew with that I could compete in the top at the UFC. And now we're here, and it's the same thing. I still feel the same way. Just now in Bellator, and against him, I feel I'm the better competition against him, Rumble, and Nemcov.
Well, Ryan, is it tough to face someone that you've known well in training? It's a little different.
Not for me. Training's totally different. You know, you have different type of fighters. Guys that show up in training and guys that don't show up in fights. I'm a gamer. You can take whatever you think you want to have on training. I'm going to show up and fight. I've proven that again and again. I came over here 2-division champion, and I'm still rolling. You know, I put in the work, and whatever you think you can take, and whatever 5 years ago you think you have, you're in for a rude awakening if that's what you're basing it on.
Well, I look forward to seeing both of you guys back inside the Bellator cage. Well, on the other side of the bracket, though, we've got the current champ, Vadim Nemcov. He's going to be fighting Anthony Rumble Johnson, who just so happens to be with Josh and Big John. Guys?
Yes, he just so happens to be with Josh John. We've got AJ Rumble Johnson with us. Anthony, you came into Bellator. You are a Bellator veteran now of one fight, and you get a shot at Vadim Nemcov and the light heavyweight strap. What does that mean to you?
Means the world. I've had opportunities in other, organizations, but this is my home now, and I get to make my mark here, and I'm looking forward to it. Going against Nemcov, it's a challenge. I don't see any holes in his game. He's a complete fighter. He's tough. He's fast. He's durable. He's a winner.
You were away from the sport for almost 4 years. You made your debut against Jose Augusto, but you had to deal with some adversity in that fight. How has that mentally prepared you going into your fight with Vadim Nemcov?
Well, Jose hit me pretty hard, so I know Nemcov hits harder, so I just have to be on my A game. You know what I mean? I can't go in there and be lazy and play around. Not saying that I was playing with Jose, but some stuff happened that shouldn't have happened, but it happened anyway, and we had to deal with it. But now we're here. I got to go against the champ, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Well, it's happened to all of us, just to let you know. All right, well, hey, thanks for joining us, Eric. Back up to Jen.
Well, thanks, Josh. Now, earlier today, it was announced the 2 semifinal fights will happen Saturday, October 16th in Phoenix, Arizona at the Footprint Center. That is home of the Phoenix Suns, and also our champ, Ryan Vader. Looking forward to both of those matchups. Well, back to the tournament at hand. Patricio Pitbull, he heads into the biggest fight of his illustrious career. And tonight, he says it's all about his legacy.
Now I have 2 childs, Miguel and Davi. Every day I wake up with them, kiss him, both. Sometimes they came with me, and it's very nice, be a father. The best thing happened in my life. In Brazil, everyone knows Bellator because of me and my brother. I'm happy about this.
The first time I met Patricio Pitbull was in 2011. He threw this guy on his head, and I was like, who is this dude right here? He's pretty aggressive, pretty violent.
I am the champion, like I'm here. I believe I'm the best. I need to put myself in a dangerous place. That make me evolve. I have to fight in this Grand Prix. You fought nobody, man.
First match of the tournament. I'll take you whenever, bro. It don't matter.
If I win this Grand Prix, I'm gonna prove I was right.
Getting set for the opening round of this Featherweight World Grand Prix.
The first one was Achuleira.
By that right hand from the champion Pitbull.
The second was Pedro Carvalho, knockout.
And it is all over!
Left hook and right hand. The third one was Emmanuel Sanchez.
Catches Sanchez with the hook.
Emmanuel Sanchez was a guillotine.
Looking for that trademark guillotine.
It's like in my veins, you know? It's just Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's a position I love very much. That's the perfect final. Pitbull here, McKee here. Both won all these fights and face each other in the finals.
Let's do it now.
Patricio Pitbull. AJ McKee, it doesn't get any better.
He talk a lot of shit, him and his father.
He's saying my time's over. My time's just begun. No one has a win over me. No one has a belt with my name on it, and no one's going to have a belt with my name on it.
He from Compton, but he ain't from Brazil.
So talking shit like that is not a problem. I'm gonna take his boy and beat his ass in front of you.
There it is. Nasty.
I know I can knock him out or finish him.
And Pitbull makes Bellator history.
But I'm gonna smash him for 5 rounds. Punching his body, punching his face, putting him on the ground, elbow him, knee on his body, kicking his leg. AJ McKee is young, taller, faster, but I'm his mother. All guy that I face on the cage, to me, is personal. I know it's sport, but I'm professional. But this belt means my dream. So I'm going to defend it with all my soul.
Tonight, Patricio Pitbull looks to silence the outspoken challenger once and for all in hopes to further solidify himself as the best featherweight on the planet. But before we get to the main event, two other featherweights are ready to make their walk to the Bellator cage. Laura, back down to you.
Thanks a lot, Jen. A man who knows Patricio Pitbull very well, having been inside the Bellator MMA cage twice with him. Emmanuel Sanchez looks to remain in title contention. He faces Mads Burnell, who's won 6 in a row.
Ready now to make his way to the cage, Mads Burnell.
The 27-year-old Mads Burnell, well, he's got mad skills, especially on the ground, Big John. He's undefeated in the Bellator MMA cage at 2-0. As we mentioned, riding that 6-fight win streak, and he enters this contest with an opportunity to rapidly ascend the divisional rankings while making a statement that he deserves to fight for the featherweight belt in the near future.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has got, as you say, mad skills on the ground. This guy is good. He is someone that you have to always be cognizant of where you are putting your arms and where your neck is at. This is his first fight. This was in Italy, and he just beats up Darko. But then he comes back and he takes on a monster in Sal Rogers, a guy who is so strong, had a great fight against Ryan Hall, dominated Ryan Hall, and he gets a submission against Sal Rogers. This guy is on a different level right now, and he is someone that you need to be aware of where you're at all times on the ground with.
You meant to say the home of Euro Cup champion Italy, right?
I think so. Or something like that. Does that matter?
No.
Is that soccer?
Well, we've got a Danish destroyer, Mads Burnell, and he faces, without a doubt, one of his toughest tests.
Now making his way, Emmanuel Sanchez.
Looking to bounce back from the first submission loss of his career, suffered in his, well, fight, the rematch against Bellator MMA featherweight champion Patricio Pitbull in the semifinals of the featherweight Grand Prix. He enters this fight with something to prove.
Yeah, that's not only the first submission, that's the first time he was ever stopped in a fight. And so it is going to be interesting to see how Emmanuel comes out in this fight and how he performs.
Well, it's a high-risk fight for the number 2 ranked Sanchez taking on the number 8 ranked Burnell. Let's go to the tail of the tape.
Tail of the tape on this. Look at that record, 20-5 for Emmanuel Sanchez, 15-3 for Mads Burnell. Both are just outstanding featherweight fighters.
With the official introductions, here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA now presents the co-main event of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. And now, live on Showtime, we introduce the blue corner. At 5'8", weighing in 145 1/2 pounds. As a professional, 15 wins, 3 losses. From Husum, Denmark, Mads Burnell. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. At 5'9", weighing in 145.3 pounds. The featherweight World Grand Prix semifinalist and 2-time title challenger. Tonight brings 20 professional victories, 5 defeats. From Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Emmanuel El Matador Sanchez. In charge, your referee, Jason Herzog.
Jason Herzog assigned to the task of refereeing this featherweight matchup.
First round, are you ready?
Emmanuel Sanchez set to meet Mads Burnell with championship implications. Sanchez, winner of 7 of his last 9 fights. He's in the red gloves. Mads Burnell looking to extend his win streak to 7 in the blue gloves. And immediately, they start throwing punches at each other. There's a low calf kick by Burnell.
Burnell having a very high guard here. He knows that Sanchez is a volume type of striker. He comes with all kinds. Look at all those shots he's throwing. He's going to be all over Mads Burnell on the feet.
And Sanchez says that experience is going to be his biggest advantage. He says having fought the champ Pitbull twice, going the distance with him and having him teach him a painful lesson in his last fight just made him that much more dangerous. Sanchez says he's never been hungrier and wants to be more aggressive, and an aggressive start by both athletes.
Both of them going at it. I love this. A lot of action right now. Throwing a lot of shots. No one trying to throw real heavy. You can see those shots by Sanchez. He's just touch right now, which is smart because one of those when you're touching is going to land and start to hurt your opponent.
Sanchez doing a good job of landing upstairs.
Sanchez doing a good job of going to the body. That you saw when he went to the body, he threw it with a lot more power.
And targeting the head of Mads Burnell, putting together crafty combinations. Beautiful slashing elbow strike in between the guard of Burnell.
Burnell, one of the mistakes he's making is look at what he's doing with his head. He's coming straight at Sanchez and not moving that head at all.
Not at all off the center line, and it's right there for the jab of Sanchez. And Burnell, though, striking as well, but out of range. Burnell has tasted the power of Emmanuel Sanchez early. Push kick by, the front kick by Burnell.
Nice front kick by Burnell, but nice right hand over. It did land.
There's a sweeping right behind the guard by Sanchez. So 2 minutes gone, and they are going tit for tat in the center of the cage. Burnell jacks the jaw. Sanchez with a right hand.
Well, both of these guys are just going after it, but they're going after it smart. If you're looking at the way Sanchez is doing, he's just trying to touch him with all kinds of different combinations. He's going to the body. He's going up to the head. He's throwing kicks in there. Burnell is going a little bit off in that. He's trying to go through all of those combinations just to land one or two. Nice right hand, though.
Incredible onslaught by Sanchez, putting together multiple punch combinations. As the deepest featherweight division in the entire sport, front and center here tonight.
Mads Burnell being smart. Look where his chin is at. It's down towards his chest, so that makes it tough. A lot of those shots are going off Sanchez's forehead.
Cardio machine marching forward.
Well, if there's one thing we know, Emmanuel Sanchez, nice body shot by Sanchez. Emmanuel will not get tired. He could do this all day long.
An electrifying start to round one.
Look at the strike stats by Sanchez right now. 30 of 92.
And the fans in the forum roaring their approval as Burnell takes it to the ground.
But now this is, even though Sanchez is the black belt jiu-jitsu, he is at a distinct disadvantage on the ground against Mads Burnell. This is where Burnell can get his part of the game in.
9 submission victories for Mads Burnell, coming off a rear naked choke win over Grand Prix participant Saul Rogers at Bellator 257 in April of this year.
Emmanuel Sanchez needs to be very careful how he gets up and where he puts his head.
And John, I know you're not wearing a tie tonight. Mads Burnell known for his Japanese necktie submissions, but this fight has predominantly taken place in the stand-up, and boy, they are throwing punches in bunches.
Boy, they have thrown a ton. Both these guys are in shape. They're going to Burnell, although he's taking a lot of shots, he's smiling at Sanchez.
A fantastic start here in round number 1. Blood trickling down the left side of Sanchez's face. And there's a left hook, right uppercut combination by Sanchez. Mike Tyson used to deliver combinations like that. Coming up on the final 30 seconds of a terrific opening round between Emmanuel Sanchez and Mads Burnell as Sanchez looks to go skyward.
And Mads Burnell going to get on that takedown.
Trap takedown secured.
Not a lot of time to do anything. That's the second takedown of the round, but that is not going to overtake what Emmanuel Sanchez has done in the stand-up.
And Sanchez's cut man will go to work at the end of round number 1. A terrific start to our co-feature at the Forum.
My God, what a round by both fighters. Emmanuel Sanchez, I don't know what the final output was, but he was well into the 90s.
at about 2 minutes left in that round. The action in this fight was incredible.
A real-life Rock'em Sock'em robots going on in this cage tonight.
I'm bleeding, okay?
Take a look at some of this action. Mads Burnell always coming forward, keeping a high guard, but it's Sanchez. Look at the combinations. Beautiful job. Hook to the body, hook, right hand, but Burnell comes with one heavy right hand down the middle.
And while not all of the punches or strikes are landing, John, enough have been eye-catching shots.
Boy, they have been throwing out a bunch of just combinations here. Sanchez throwing out a three-piece of soda multiple times.
Mr. Masvidal approves.
Here comes Masvidal into the takedown, and he needs to do this much earlier on in the fight so he has time to work on the ground.
Good. Well, both of them put in big-time work in that first 5 minutes.
Buddy, ready. You ready? Fight.
And Emmanuel Sanchez, well, he can go all night long. Mads Burnell getting set here in round number 2. Again, Sanchez coming forward with a bevy of strikes. And John, let's take a look at the strikes landed in round number 1.
46 of 125
punches.
Unbelievable output by Emmanuel Sanchez. Like I said, he can do this all night long.
And he continues to do it here in the opening minute of the second.
He loves this kind of fight. This is what he's meant for.
Three-punch combination. Burnell standing right in front of him. We mentioned it in the first round, John. He's got to get that head off the center line. He's got to create angles.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's using that high guard, but you're seeing Sanchez really dig to the body. And one of those shots, if it hits right, it's going to put Mads Burnell in a bad spot of not being able to suck in air.
Again, 1-2 in that elbow strike across the jaw of Mads Burnell by the whirling dervish, Emmanuel Sanchez.
Burnell going to the body.
He's giving that battery buddy a run for his money, man. I'm telling you. And Burnell continues to walk forward, but he's walking through fire. There was a beautiful combination by Burnell. Left hook to the liver, right hand over the top.
I don't think he's walking through fire. He's walking into fire. Now Burnell with that takedown, a lot of time now. There's a big difference right here, but he needs to be really on Emmanuel Sanchez as far as the use of that fence. Emmanuel's very good at using that fence to get himself up off the ground.
And considering what we've seen in the stand-up, Burnell will try desperately to keep Sanchez on the ground. Sanchez already back up to his feet. The veteran going back to work.
Nice body shot.
With the left hook and right uppercut on the inside by Sanchez.
When you get a takedown like Mads Burnell had and you get nothing from it, that is absolutely deflating as far as your confidence in the fight.
Boy, Sanchez definitely did not lie to us when he said he'd be more aggressive. It is an offensive onslaught, but here comes Burnell now with the taking of the back. But Sanchez doing a good job of wrist control.
What he's just doing is fighting the hands right now, utilizing the fence as a point of balance. Nice job by Emmanuel Sanchez.
And Sanchez doing a good job of going to the body, attacking it like it's filled with candy, and some sweet stuff with those elbow strikes, John.
Sweet strikes inside. You see those Muay Thai elbows coming up from Emmanuel.
Lead left hook landed by Sanchez.
Those are the type of elbows they slice you because they hit you straight up and down.
Teeing off on Mads Burnell, who continues to march forward, trying desperately to stop the onslaught and create some offensive opportunities of his own. Sanchez looking for the takedown.
And nothing wrong with that.
Wow, talk about timing. Burnell ducking underneath that spinning kick by Sanchez. And of course, when you talk about kicks, you got to talk about the kickboxing great Duke Rufus and what he has done at Rufus Sport.
Just a fantastic coach, a guy that really has taken to all aspects of martial arts. He's just got a phenomenal team.
And of course, he has the Bellator MMA bantamweight champion Sergio Pettis. Minute and a half left in another sensational round here between Sanchez and Burnell.
Good dig to the body. Now getting it down again. Now Sanchez in full guard. We'll see what happens here. You hear the corner calling out 1 minute. These guys have not stopped at all.
If this pace continues in the third round, we are going to be in for a fantastic finish. It has been terrific through the first 2 rounds with a minute left now in the middle frame.
As Burnell's been able to pass to at least a half guard. But again, here comes Emmanuel who's going to use that fence to try to get himself back to his feet.
There you go. Come on, keep going, keep going, man. Keep going, keep going.
Burnell's been training in Las Vegas at Extreme Couture. Also trains back home in his native Denmark, and with just over 30 seconds left in the second round, Burnell going to try to pass guard into full mount, but Sanchez doing a good job of defending.
I'll tell you what, wherever these guys are training, they're doing a good job of getting these guys in shape because they have put out just an unbelievable amount of energy in this fight, and they continue on.
Well, we sing the praises of Rufus Sport. They produced a veritable cornucopia of MMA champions and championship heart on display here between Sanchez and Burnell. What a top 10 tilt in the featherweight division as we go to the third and final round. A man who made his name on Showtime. Kung Lee, the former Strikeforce middleweight champion. One of my highlights was being cage-side for the shootout in San Jose. The Battle of the Bay Area against MMA legend Frank Shamrock and the former flyweight champion Alimale McFarland, recovering from surgery, looking to get back into the cage, looking to get back her title.
Looking to get back her title. I can't wait to see her back in the cage. Alimale is a scrapper. She is so good on the ground and so fun to watch.
And while it's been a terrific night in Los Angeles, nothing beats an atmosphere when Alimale McFarland fights in her native Hawaii. You talk about my goosebumps, having goosebumps, brother.
That is that chicken skin, and it happens when you're in Hawaii.
Well, Burnell and Sanchez providing plenty of excitement. And John, going into the third round, how do you see this one?
Right now, I've got Emmanuel Sanchez up 2 rounds. Now, he was taken down with about a minute left in that round, minute 20. But Burnell was not able to do enough to overtake all the strikes that Emmanuel landed during the first part of that round.
Third round underway. Talk about adjustments Burnell has to make in order to get back into his fight. If your unofficial scorecard is how the judges see it.
Well, what Burnell needs to do is he was coming forward, but you need to be smart in how you're coming forward and change levels on him. Right now, he's standing right in front of him. Well, I've got to give him a different outlook. I got to start dipping my head off to the side. There you go.
Changing levels.
So you can't tell when that level change comes.
Looks and secures the takedown and will try to make the most of it as Sanchez again, just unbelievable, gets back to his feet. And if at first you don't succeed, John.
Well, he's making him work for it, but Burnell's got one hook now.
Oh, and Burnell.
Make a difference in this fight. He can take it over.
And this is the theater of truth MMA, the unpredictable theater of the combat sports world.
Very smart what you saw with Emmanuel. He was working towards getting his shoulders towards the mat and getting Burnell so he was high on him.
Wow, highly competitive affair. And
he's using the screen to look up to see where Burnell's head's at.
High fight IQ as he delivers those back elbows to Burnell, now trying to secure the choke from the back mount, but Sanchez continues to defend, throwing punches.
He is, and right now Sanchez got a lot of sweat, so Burnell needs to be careful about losing that position.
Phenomenal conditioning on display, and you don't expect any less from Emmanuel Sanchez, but Mance Burnell trying to remain in this position, trying to take Sanchez off his feet again.
And I think Mance Burnell is anticipating Emmanuel Sanchez, thinking about rolling through on a Grammy here. There you go.
Sanchez now in side control, and into half guard.
Yeah, but this shows just what you're looking at. Emmanuel Sanchez started off as a kickboxer, a guy that was very good on his feet. And all of this right now, the guy that he is grappling with is outstanding. And you're seeing the skill set that Emmanuel Sanchez has built just from hard work.
And wow, the great scramble there, and Burnell ending back up in top position. And regardless of the outcome, what a bounce-back performance for Emmanuel Sanchez after getting stopped for the first time in the opening round of the semifinals against Patricio Pitbull.
Absolutely fantastic.
And Burnell hoping to secure the victory and continue his winning streak. He wants a crack at featherweight gold and has looked sensational in his Bellator MMA tenure.
Nice job of going to the single leg and keeping his head where it's at to help use that as a third arm to get Emmanuel down.
But man, Sanchez always seems to be in control, non-stop, continues to throw punches.
It all comes down to this, Mo. Think about it. If someone is moving, they're hard to deal with. It's when they stop moving, now they become easy to deal with.
And he has never stopped moving.
Exactly. Burnell trying to keep that leg up off the ground. That'll help him hold Sanchez down. But as time is going by, you see that Burnell is not able to actually get anything on Emmanuel at this point.
Sanchez beating Burnell's body like a drum with those hammer fists from bottom. 1.5 minutes left in the fight.
Right now you're seeing Emmanuel Sanchez
controlling the head.
His left arm holding the head, and that's because if he doesn't, he moves that arm, you can see Burnell come around his back, and that's why as he was letting go of it, he was flopping his back straight to the canvas.
We are coming up on the final minute of this featherweight co-feature at Bellator 263. Number 2 ranked Emmanuel Sanchez on his back right now, but he has looked sensational in this fight. And Mads Burnell now trying desperately to find a way to steal victory from the jaws of defeat, or at least that's how we both see it.
That's the way we see it, but after what we've seen sometimes, they might have given Mads Burnell the second round based upon just being on top. Who knows? But I'm telling you right now, I have Emmanuel Sanchez up.
But Burnell continues to stay in top position. And
beautiful job of riding that position out by Mads Burnell.
And Emmanuel Sanchez, full 15 minutes of just continually throwing punches, moving, and Burnell will end the fight in top position, delivering strikes of his own. It'll be interesting to see how the judges score this terrific fight. Wow, John, what a pace for a full 15 minutes.
Unbelievable.
And even though on the ground, yes, it was still high pace.
And that's the whole point. People talk about the ground, oh, it's not exciting. Yes, it is.
Yes,
it just depends on who is applying those techniques.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself if you don't like the ground game.
Take a look at that elbow right here by Sanchez. Beautiful right across the cheekbone. Comes back with another one. Then a beautiful exchange here. Beautiful combination. Goes to the body, but a left hook by Mads Burnell. These guys were just slinging leather the entire time. I loved what I saw out of Emmanuel Sanchez. He was non-stop. And you can only do that if you are training your butt off. Beautiful takedown by Mads Burnell. Gets the double leg. But Sanchez right away pushing on the head. Trying to work his way out. He goes for the roll here. So what we talked about, we saw Saeed grab the arm, comes out in the top, on top of that position. Just beautiful technique by both guys. Unbelievable fight. This right here, this is the one part you're going, well, they're punching on the ground. Not a whole lot there by either guy. And it's at this point.
Those are scoring shots.
Oh, they're scoring shots, but they're very light scoring shots.
A shot is a shot. Let's look at the stats here.
I'm taking a look at those strikes.
Ground
82
control.
Strikes landed by, Sanchez.
Damage.
That ground control. Burnell's got it. 7 takedowns are giving him. But if you're looking, who was the guy that was in control of the fight? Who did the most damage? It's Emmanuel Sanchez.
Will the judges agree with our unofficial score, Big John McCarthy? We are about to find out. And a fight that speaks to the depth of the Bellator MMA featherweight division. Emmanuel Sanchez, win or lose, returning to form here in this fight after suffering a heartbreaking defeat in the semifinals of the World Grand Prix. Will Mads Burnell increase his win streak to 7? We're about to find out. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we'll go to your 3 cake-side judges. Your first, Derek Cleary, scores the fight 29-28, while judges Sal D'Amato, Brian Miner, both seed exactly the same, 30-27. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Mads Burnell.
victory for Mads Burnell, and I have a feeling Emmanuel Sanchez, always the class act, but he's got to be Matt 30-27, a clean sweep for Mads Burnell, who now has won 7 in a row. And I mean, Emmanuel Sanchez taking this loss with class. And let's go to Big John McCarthy.
Mads Burnell, unbelievable output by both of you during that fight. It was your conditioning, his conditioning were just top-notch. Talk to me about what it was like being in here with Emmanuel Sanchez.
First of all, I want to say about Emmanuel Sanchez, this ain't some post-fight bull where I talk good about my opponent because I just won. That dude is the toughest son of a gun I've ever shared the cage with. So big up for Emmanuel. He's straight gangster in there.
No doubt about that. You guys were just slinging leather, and you were walking forward, taking shot after shot to try to land big shots and to get this fight to the ground. Talk to me about when you finally got it there.
So I got this to say. I'm tired of hearing all of you folks saying I'm a submissions expert, okay? I can box too. I'm a student of the game. I take stuff from Jersey Joe Walcott, Essa Childs, all these old school guys and trying to implement in my game. So the plan was with Emmanuel, because we know he had good condition, to walk him down and rock like with my a shoulder roll, and just inch by inch gets close and touch. And when he starts to change, take his butt down.
Well, you did a fantastic job once you got in that position on the ground, but he was also able to turn you. Were you surprised by that?
Absolutely not. Because he's a dog. It's like, yeah, you think you have him, and then he gets energy from some place you don't know where it's from, but yeah.
145-pound division, who is it you want to see next in this cage?
Right now, I don't know. I have to talk to Ali. Shout out to Ali. I know you're in the crowd right now. And yeah, thanks to my coaches, Pooney, Thomas, Dennis, Ada Suave back home. I love you guys. Thank you. And Bellator, thank you for putting up such an amazing show. And for all of you people here in the forum, what's up? I hope you're enjoying your night, baby.
Well, you just shook up the rankings with an outstanding performance. Congratulations on a big win. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mads Burnell.
Charismatic Dane Mads Burnell dropping some old school boxing knowledge as he's now won 7 in a row. Came into the fight ranked number 8. He's just knocked off the number 2 ranked Emmanuel Sanchez, who was equally incredible in this performance and unfortunately tasting a bitter defeat now, having lost 2 in a row. But I believe he will remain a force at 145. Let's go back to the fight desk and Jen Brown.
Well, certainly we have to assume the same thing for Emmanuel Sanchez, but knocking off him, ranked at number 2, you got to assume when you look at those rankings next week. Mads Burnell, he's been on fire this in Bellator, guys.
Yeah, we don't control our rankings. Everyone at home should understand that. The media controls it. We have a panel, I think, of 15 people that do our rankings. So after this weekend, I can't imagine him not at least jumping into that like 4 or 5 position. I don't know if he'll jump all the way to 2, but I'm sure he'll get up in that top 5.
Yeah, Mads is dangerous. Obviously, we know what he can do on the ground, but he was coming in with some vicious body shots, walking him down, fighting in the pocket like he said he wanted to fight Emmanuel with, and he looked great and look for big things from him.
I was kind of pretty surprised though by the decision. Not so much the decision, sorry, I was surprised by Big John's decision. I like to give Big John a hard time.
I thought Sanchez won at least 1 round in there.
Yeah, I had Sanchez possibly winning the first, but then I had Mads Burnell winning the second and the third.
See, that's not fair. You're calling him out, but you know that he can't respond.
Hey, he got me last show. He got me a couple times.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing more from Mads Burnell inside the Bellator cage. Great performance tonight. Well, Friday, August 13th, 2-time middleweight champion Gegard Mousasi, he returns to defend his gold against #1 contender John Salter, who's finished 17 opponents in his 18 wins. Now, can he catch the dream catcher, or can Mousasi hold on to his middleweight title? That's August 13th, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on Showtime. Well, later in August, boxing and MMA will collide once again in the next Showtime pay-per-view. That's Sunday, August 29th. Now, internet sensation Jake Paul, he's got a big fight coming up. He's taking on UFC former champ Tyron Woodley. Now, Paul is taking a little time off from training. He's watching Bellator tonight, giving us quick little shout out here on Twitter. Now, if you're listening, though, if you're watching, you may want to listen up here, because your opponent, Tyron Woodley, well, he caught up with our Mauro Ranallo earlier.
Tyron, it's been almost a decade since I got a chance to talk to you here on Showtime. Since then, you went on to become one of the greatest welterweight champions in mixed martial arts history, but we are talking about a totally different arena now. You're about to step into the squared circle as a professional boxer for the first time, and I'm just wondering, is this a case of you just looking to avenge your good friend Ben Askren, make a nice payday and call it a day, or is there more to this?
There's definitely more to this, you know. I'm looking to get into the boxing arena and make a huge splash. And I think my performance, I think when people see my tactics and my technique and my explosion, is just the way that I have a crazy IQ for boxing. You know, Floyd and GT and Pedro and all the guys that's been working with me are very pleased and very excited about my fight coming up August 29th. So, no, this is not a one-off. I think that when I go out there and I win, I do it in such a vicious fashion that it's going to avenge my dog Ben's loss. It's going to make everybody that want to see him get beat up. It's going to satisfy them. It's going to be a lot of early Christmas gifts and birthday presents. But I'm really focusing on getting into boxing and really going after it. And I'm really looking to go after a belt at some point.
When it comes to boxing, obviously striking is a component of both boxing and MMA, but Tyron, you know they're two distinctly different sports, even in terms of preparation when it comes to striking. What gives you your biggest confidence in terms of your brand of striking in MMA and how you think it will translate against a guy who is still a neophyte in boxing, but who is 3-0 as a pro?
You know, when you think about boxing, you got to really think about, you know, all the sweet science that goes with it. You know, the motion, the foot. In mixed martial arts, we got to worry about a lot of different things: wrestling, takedown, offense, clinch work. So you got to have a kind of a universal stance. Boxing is more narrow. I don't have to worry about getting leg kicked. So for me, I think I'm going to be sharper. I think I'm going to be a harder target to hit. And mixed martial arts, we're more square. And for that, I feel like it's going to be light work on August 29th.
Obviously, you're a student of the game when it comes to all combat sports. When it comes to boxing, who has influenced you? I know you mentioned Floyd as in Floyd Mayweather, but what kind of a style are we going to see out of Tyron Woodley in his first professional boxing fight?
You know, obviously, if I'm working with Floyd and GT, you're going to see, you know, some great defense, some great tactics, some great offense. Pedro's really great at going animal status. So that's one thing that is already built into my body and my DNA. That's what you guys know me for the best, really just knocking people out in a vicious fashion. But coming up, man, I used to always like Roy Jones Jr., #1, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard. There's so many different people to pick from that I feel like I've grabbed a few things from each person, and I kind of developed my own style.
Well, I know you guys have gone back and forth and will continue to go back and forth with the war of words before you meet in the ring on Sunday, August 29th. I want to give you an opportunity right now. I know you're a bar spitter. I know you're very good on the microphone. Why don't you send Jake Paul a message right now here on Showtime?
I'm going to just send Jake Paul a message. I'm going to send him to the ICU, and I'm going to send his jaw to the other side of his other jaw. But more importantly, I want to shout out to my dog, AJ McKee. I want to see him get this gold, get this shit strapped around his waist, and really just go out there and create this legacy. You know, he's been in the cut for a long time. I've known him since he was scratching me in middle school. So now he's getting an opportunity to go out there and win gold. I really want to know that I got his back, I support him, and I'm riding for him.
You've always been a class act. Cannot wait to call another one of your fights. Didn't think would be in a boxing ring, but then again, I didn't think we'd enter this bizarre world of combat sports. But you're taking on a YouTube sensation August 29th. Tyron Woodley, thank you very much. We will see you in Cleveland, my man.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, we can't wait for that one. Like Moro just said, it all goes down Sunday, August 29th on Showtime pay-per-view. Lots of fireworks expected in that one. And tonight, here at the Forum, we expect nothing less. All right, guys, the moment is finally here. We have waited almost 2 years to get to the finals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix. I'm going to let you take the champ here, Josh. What does Patricio Pitbull need to do to win tonight?
I'm pumped for this fight. I can't believe it's finally here. Look, what Patricio needs to do, he just needs to dictate the pace. He needs to put the young stud on his back foot. He needs to put his foot to the back of to the cage, make him fight under pressure and under duress. If he can do that, he can make AJ McKee make a mistake. If he can do that, he'll have success. If AJ makes one mistake, it could be lights out, it could be done. If his head gets too low and he captures that arm in guillotine, it could be over. There's so many ways that Patricio can win. Look, he's still the champ that doesn't get enough credit, and I don't understand that. I just feel that if he can put AJ on his back heel, he'll have success.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about mistakes with AJ, right? Pitbull's very good. He keeps that front hand up as like a little range detector. As soon as you get in that range, he's throwing that right hand or that hook right hand. And so what he's looking for is a little mistake, with AJ coming in and getting a little too overzealous and looking to put him away. And, obviously he can jump on the neck and all that kind of stuff, but I would like to see Pitbull be aggressive if he feels like he's losing, the first or second round and he can't, figure out that distance yet. Go get him.
Well, both had a separate path here to the finals. Let's go back to Pitbull's road to the finals and take me through those wins, Josh.
Yeah, he fought Juan Archuleta, but there was never a moment. He went a full 5 rounds. There was never a moment where he was losing that fight. He was dominating the takedowns. He was dominating the counter-striking. He had dropped Juan Archuleta. He had rocked him a couple times. He was on top of the submission game as well in that fight. He fought Pedro Cavallo. He got on top of him as well in terms of every time Pedro stepped in, he hit him with a clean shot. To get in the semifinals, to get to the finals, he fought Emmanuel Sanchez, who he had fought before to a 5-round decision. But in this fight, he dropped him with a quick combination. Boom, jumped on the head and arm, choked, and finished it. And then he defended his belt 3 times. It's been dominating. Look, he's been dominant champion the whole time. There's no reason to doubt this guy anymore.
Unbelievable, and he's a guy that I watch in Bellator where I try to take little things from him. He's that guy, and that's why he's the #1 pound-for-pound Bellator fighter right now. He's that good.
All right, well, his opponent tonight, AJ McKee, we've talked about him since, I feel like, day 1 here in Bellator. He has come up the ranks. He is undefeated. Josh, what does AJ McKee need to do to win tonight?
Just to walk in there with a little swagger, which he always does. And he just continues to do that. He needs to go out there and show Patricio right off the bat that he's not afraid of him. He's not afraid of his power. He's not concerned about anything that he brings to the table, which he will do. He will do that. He's just got to make sure that he's cautious. If you take a look at the Pat Curran fight, he needs to make sure he kind of fights like that, at least until he gets the cobwebs out of there. He starts feeling a little more comfortable. He fights at long range, uses his speed, uses his length. All of the natural attributes that he has to utilize, though, from the beginning.
He's got to be smart, through the whole fight. He's going to come out there. He's going to use his range and his speed. But you start tagging Pitbull up, he can't think, okay, now's my time to go, and then make a mistake. Pitbull's waiting for that one mistake, and he's going to make you pay.
To touch on what Ryan Vader said, if you went back to the Daniel Strauss fight when Patricio fought him, he was losing the whole fight, and he was able to pull off the submission in the 5th round to win, to get the title. That is a situation where AJ McKee cannot afford to make a mistake, even if he's winning all 4 and even half of the 5th round.
Well, let's take a look back then at his performances, these last 3 performances, and how he got here tonight.
Yeah, so he came out, quick knockout of Georgia Karahanyan, came out, just stepped up, boom. But he can't afford to lunge in like that as much with Patricio because he's a great counter striker. In terms of this fight, he hurt his knee in the 1st round against Campos, but what he did do was he started out, she's changing up the game, wrestling, making him fight from the position, and then attacking his submissions right off the bat. Now, this is the one that Ryan Vader's in love with, because Darian Caldwell is a stud. Former champion at 135 for Bellator, got the easy takedown, and AJ just settled in and goes, I'm okay here. Attacked the submission, got the finish right away.
That's the one I said, like you said, this guy's for real. I know Darian very well. I know how tough and strong he is. Great wrestler. When that happened, it really opened up my eyes. And now we'll see if he's for real taking on Pitbull. With everything on the line, the money, the belt, the Grand Prix, the fans are back in the arena.
We're going to
find out.
We're going to find out if he's real.
Okay, real quick, though.
Real.
Here's my question. Who wins tonight? What's your prediction?
I can't answer that.
No?
That's what's making this fight so great. I can't answer that. They both have a very good chance of winning.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't like to, pick fights, especially pick fights among my peers, right, in the Bellator, under the Bellator banner. It really is 50-50 for me. Who can impose their game plan and be smart about it? That's AJ just being smart the whole dang time, and that's Pitbull waiting for that one opportunity, one mistake and jump on that and finish that fight.
If you want to be king, you got to beat the king.
All right, I love it. Well, the time has finally come. We are just a few minutes from seeing these 2 men make their walk to the cage. Let's send it back down now to Mora, who's got the best seat in the house. Mo.
Absolutely, Big John and McCarthy and I Salivating in anticipation of the biggest Bellator MMA fight in history, the longest title reign in promotional history against the longest winning streak in Bellator MMA history. We don't have to wait any longer. It's the GOAT versus the future. Let's get down to business. Undefeated 17-0, AJ McKee.
McKee got the key in the game on lock. I'll run this shit.
The pound-for-pound top dog is Patricio Pitbull.
Number one in the world. All those guys think they can beat me, but always they fall.
What a right hand! And Patricio Pitbull makes Bellator history!
Don't take it personal, Pitbull, but I got a leash in the kennel waiting for you.
The mercenary claims another victim!
Ready to take you to the pound, homie, whenever you want it.
Pitbull, bring me my motherfucking belt!
Fuck that. I am the champion and nobody will take those belts from me.
I'm like, this little dude's about to come get in the cage with me, like...
You already lost. You will see that. You will see that. Come. I'm ready for you.
I'm gonna kick your ass just to say I did it, homie.
If you want to be king, you're gonna have to kill me.
No more guessing. No more speculating.
How good was that?
It's time to find out who's the greatest featherweight on the planet.
Ovation for the hometown hero, born and bred in the Los Angeles area, his MMA career born and bred here in Bellator MMA. AJ McKee stands just one victory away from cashing that $1 million check he wrote to himself as a kid. And we talk about what he's accomplished so far in his career. He is looking tonight to show the world why he is the future of the sport. The future is now.
The future is now, and AJ McKee is just in walking out here. Well, you know that's a superstar walking out there. Everyone is behind him, and this guy's got swagger. He not only has the swagger, this guy, he talks the talk, but he walks the walk. His keys to victory is use your length and speed, and you have to remain patient. Do not make the mistake of going after Pitbull. Always maintain your patience. That's how you win.
screen. Let's respect the Brazilian national anthem. And John, this Pitbull, his bark definitely there, but his bite just as big as his bark, and he walks to this cage set to continue to solidify his legacy and, of course, really add to his claim of being the baddest man on the planet at 145.
Well, he has claimed that for a long time, and he has gone on his way of proving it right. I'm telling you right now, the one thing that I see in Pitbull, he's got the experience. He's been there. He's done it. He's been into those championship rounds. He needs to try to drag AJ into those deep waters that he's never touched. And that is a big way of using that experience over your young opponent.
And the confident champion told us that he was going to submit AJ McKee in the second round, telling us that McKee's got a big neck and he's going to catch it. And, well, he's caught a lot of necks with his trademark guillotine chokes, including in the semifinals against Emmanuel Sanchez, who we just saw in action.
Absolutely. His arm-in guillotine choke is deadly. The keys to victory for Patricio Pitbull is make AJ move backwards. He doesn't like moving backwards. He doesn't fight as well. Anticipate and expose the mistake when it comes and use that experience.
Bellator MMA has been in operation for a dozen years, nearly 3,000 fights, none bigger than tonight's main event. And John, let's go to the tail of the tape for the World Grand Prix final and the Bellator MMA Featherweight Championship match.
Take a look at that reach, Morrow. 65.5 for Pitbull, 73.5 for AJB. That's 8 inches. That is huge. But I will say that Patricio has been in this position in almost every one of his fights where he has less reach. But AJ McKee is special, and he's got speed. We'll see if this reach makes a difference.
Hollywood couldn't script this main event any better. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA live on Showtime from the Forum. The time has come for the conclusion of the $1 million Featherweight World Grand Prix. Tonight's main event will be 5 5-minute rounds for the Bellator Featherweight World Championship. Sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Commissioner John Carvelli, Chair, Executive Officer at K-Side, Andy Foster. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 145 pounds even, with 3 electrifying finishes en route to tonight's final. The young phenom enters undefeated with 17 professional victories, no losses. Ladies and gentlemen, the #1 ranked contender hailing from Long Beach, California, presenting the challenger, the mercenary, AJ McKee. And across the cage, the champion tonight fights out of the red corner at 5'6", weighing in 144.5 pounds as a reigning 2-weight class world champion. The Bellator GOAT tonight stands with an impressive 32 professional victories along with 4 defeats. From Natal, Rio Grande do Norte, Brazil, the defending Bellator Featherweight World Champion, Patricio Pitbull. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Beltran.
All right, gentlemen, been over the rules already. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch goes down if you want. At the sound of the bell, come on out, handle your business.
Scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds. The World Grand Prix final, $1 million bonus check. And the Bellator Featherweight Championship, the Grand Prix title, all on the line. The #1 contender against the champion.
You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Hey, let's go.
The bell in round 1. Patricio Pitbull in the red gloves, AJ McKee in the blue, and McKee immediately attacking the lead leg of the champion with an oblique kick.
look at what's happening here. AJ taking the center of the cage, which is normally where Patricio likes to be. He's taking the center of the cage and saying, I'm going to stand here, go ahead and try to come towards me, and I'm just going to start to pick at you. We'll see how Patricio starts to open up. This is going to take a while for these guys to feel each other out. This is not going to end real fast, in my opinion. Well, it's going to be that they both are careful in the beginning.
Well, McKee said that's not going to be the case. He says he's going to finish him in the first round with a body kick, but you're right, John. It would behoove McKee to be patient and utilize his advantages with the height and the reach.
Absolutely. There's no doubt he has an advantage when it comes to physical size. Strength, Patricio is a bull.
Yes.
But to be that bull, you got to come into the matador.
And of course, Pitbull known for his crisp counterattacks, but who is going to lead this dance?
Notice who is moving who back. Nice.
Patricio Pitbull! He said he'd do it with a kick, and McKee looking to finish the champion in round one.
Made a mistake in not going after him. He's out. He's out.
Mamma mia! AJ McKee has made history!
That head kick set it up, boy.
The fairy tale Hollywood ending has come true. AJ McKee, from birth, was being programmed to become a world champion by his father, Antonio. He had the vision.
Well, he wrote himself $1 million check. He just made Bellator write him $1 million check.
Wow! Calm, cool, collected, and as dangerous as they come. The mercenary AJ McKee at 26 becomes the new Bellator MMA featherweight champion. Wins the featherweight world Grand Prix title and, like you said, John, gets to take home $1 million bonus. And from, you know what? He's now 18-0, longest win streak in Bellator, and in many ways, this is just the beginning, John.
It is just the beginning. I told you that he is special. He is so good at being a fighter.
Meanwhile, the former champion Patricio Pitbull's corner wondering what happened.
There's not a whole lot to wonder about. Let's take a look at the replay if we can. Take a look at this. AJ sets him up, gets him going backwards. Watch the kick come up. Watch the right hand. Comes out, that kick comes up, hits him square across the jaw. That stuns him. You can see he's after him. Then he actually puts him down with shots, but he made the mistake of stopping, putting his hands up. Goes after him with the guillotine choke. It is tight. Watch again the head kick come up. Look at the trauma of that head kick. Patricio's able to withstand that, but then it's the shots coming after. That uppercut with the left hand puts him on his butt. Again, right there's the mistake that you cannot make. If you're AJ McKee, you got to continue on until that referee stops you. He then grabs the neck, and he goes after what Patricio normally gets his guys with. There he goes, right to the point of unconscious. You can see how he doesn't know where he's at. And they stop the fight.
And Father Antonio celebrating the huge victory by his son, AJ McKee. And yeah, you talk about poetry there, my friend, as AJ McKee and does it with Pitbull's guillotine choke. And so adding insult to injury by doing it in that fashion.
Oh, there's no insult at all. It is part of MMA. He went after what was available. His neck was available because he was a hurt fighter, and that is what ended the fight.
Well, with that insult to injury to the now former champion, Patricio Pitbull. And Pitbull still can't believe what has just transpired here in the LA Forum. The now former two-time featherweight champion still holds the 155-pound gold. But Patricio Pitbull submitted for the first time in his illustrious career. The night belongs to the mercenary, A.J. McKee. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the guillotine in tight, it comes to an end officially 1 minute 57 seconds into round number 1 by technical submission. He is now the $1 million featherweight world Grand Prix champion and the new Bellator featherweight world champion, the mercenary, A.J. McKee.
Tremendous show of respect by both Patricio Pitbull and A.J. McKee. McKee is a prophet. He predicted a first-round finish, and he delivered. Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the new featherweight champion and the featherweight Grand Prix winner, Mr. A.J. McKee. A.J., you just stopped a guy that has been the champion since you have been fighting in this cage. What does it feel like?
Man, all my dreams coming true. It's amazing. We're not done. This is just the beginning, so we're getting started. I'm looking forward to holding this baby for the rest of my life. It ain't going nowhere.
Talk to me about when you were walking out, because the energy in this crowd and the love that they were throwing down on you had to inspire you before you started.
It was surreal, man. Everybody, I appreciate y'all for coming out and supporting from the bottom of my heart. This is for y'all. This is for LA, baby. We bringing championships home. Let's go. Snickers, are y'all not satisfied? What's up? For real.
You don't need Snickers. You wrote yourself a check when you were a young man for $1 million. Well, Bellator just wrote you a check for $1 million that you can now go cash. Talk to me about the entire tournament, what it meant to you and how it was going through this process.
Man, when I first started in the tournament, I wanted like the 3rd pick, 4th pick, just so I could see where the bracket laid out. But God put something in my heart. He reminded me, he said, you are number 1. So when I drew that number 1, it showed me. It said, let them see who wants to fight you. And none of them wanted to step up.
You came into Bellator super hot, had some fights, but there was a fight that changed you. It was that fight in Ireland when all of a sudden you were tested and you came back a different fighter. What was it that changed you?
I'd say mentality, man. Mentality is key. You know, you got to put in the work. And my dad always tell me hard work beats talent. So if you got all the skill set in the world and you don't work hard, it's meaningless.
Well, let's talk about the skill set, because it was the head kick that started everything. You hit him to the head, and then you hit him with a beautiful left uppercut to put him on the deck. But then you started to celebrate.
Yeah, because I thought he was done, you know. I looked at him, and then I was just like, man, well, let's get on him again, you know. So, like they say, protect yourself at all times, and you got to stay on him until the ref stops it. So I had to get back on him like white on rice.
When you grabbed that neck and you felt it, did you know that he was going out?
Yeah, I felt him go limp a little bit, so that's what kind of gave me it, you know what I mean? I knew he was already rocked, so when I felt him buckle a little bit, I was like, all right, that's it.
I want to tell you that was a fantastic performance against an unbelievable champion. Congratulations on being the new featherweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bellator featherweight champion, A.J. the Mercenary McKee.
I'm happy this week, Scott.
No place that A.J. McKee would rather become a world champion than this venue, the Forum in his backyard, and he said especially after he and his dad fought here together at Bellator 228, around and get his name up on those walls someday, and I have a feeling that may also come to fruition. Mercenary AJ McKee is money, and he will indeed cash that $1 million bonus check and has all of the gold. What a performance by AJ McKee, and for Patricio Pitbull, his record title reign comes to an end, but he has all of the support in the world from his family. He remains the lightweight champion, and he remains a Bellator MMA icon, but AJ McKee celebrating with family. AJ McKee said that he's got the MMA game on lock, and he just locked up the biggest win of his career. And as we mentioned, and he reiterated that this is just the beginning. Let's go back to the fight desk and check back.
Well, thanks, Mario. You know, AJ McKee told us this week that what drives him is to continue his father's legacy. He talked about this picture that he has on his wall in his house of his father with his belt, and now tonight he can put his picture with him. Spectacular.
Sports can be cruel sometimes. For one man to live his dream, another man's dream must die, and that's what happened tonight. And I feel bad for Patricio because he's been the king so long in Bellator, but sometimes the new king needs to step in, and he did that tonight with AJ McKee. Great performance. Little pre-celebration though almost cost him, but he jumped on the neck right away, stayed composed, attacked the submission, didn't rush stuff. Great job by a young man.
What a night for AJ. He looked amazing, and then to be able to celebrate like that in your hometown, friends and family, there's no better feeling than that right there.
So what's next for AJ? He's now the champ. I know he hinted a little bit at wanting to go after the champ status that you started there, Mr. Vader. So what is next? What do you think we're going to see from him coming up?
I mean, he has talked a lot about going to lightweight, which he should. He's a very big featherweight, and so if he does decide to go there, but I would like to see him defend his title one time, at least in the featherweight division. You got guys like Adam Boric who are just as big as him, tall, long, lengthy, great kickboxing, good submissions. I'd like to see that fight potentially come to fruition. And I would also, even though I'd like to see them fight again, Patricio and him at featherweight, I think someone who's been a champion that long, like you said, when he started in Bellator, Patricio was the champion, and he's still the champion. And so that's kind of where I'd like to see that happen again, even though they're probably going to fight it like
I would like to see him fight at 155, but I would like to see AJ fight again and defend that belt at 145 before just going right back up and doing the same fight again. You know, I think there needs to be a little buffer in there and him to defend that belt.
Yeah, I think he needs to do the buffer, but if he does go up to 55, does he have to fight a contender at 55? Guess who's there? Patricio's brother. He's the number one ranked guy right now in that position. So if he fights Patricio's brother in Patrici, and he gets past him, then he fights for the
title. That can work. He's got a belt around his waist now though.
I'm just up here to stir the pot. That's all I'm up here to do.
I see that.
Well, he did say his goal was to finish all 4 fights in the Featherweight World Grand Prix. He was able to do that tonight, and it's not easy. It's not easy because these were some of the best featherweights in the world.
My phone is blowing up right now. I was checking it. It's been blowing up, talking about this kid is the real deal. I can't believe that happened. I couldn't believe this. People are going crazy right now all around social media, as well as blowing my phone up.
Yeah, to go through a Grand Prix like that and how he did it, you know, just finishes and finishes. And then, you know, is he for real? Is he for real? He just beat the #1 pound-for-pound guy and looked amazing doing it, too.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where, if there's a little shakeup in some of those rankings as well. Well, here's a look at that final bracket. We have our winner, AJ McKee. He is the Featherweight World Grand Prix champion. He did it, keeping his perfect record intact. So impressive, 18-0. What a spectacular night here in front of his hometown crowd. It doesn't get much better than that.
No, it doesn't. And that's the great thing about this. I'm glad he was able to live out his dream here in his hometown, as well as with his father right there next to him. He had a lot of family in the cage that were able to get in there and celebrate with him. This is one of those moments that you just dream of as an athlete, period. Not just a fighter, but as an athlete. And for him to be able to enjoy it with his family here, they didn't have to travel far. Because look, the one thing when the events are across the world or they're across the country, it's hard for your family to make it because not everyone is able to make those events. The fact that it was here, a majority of his family could be here, it's a blessing for him. And I want to say
he might go out and do bigger and better things, but he will always remember this moment. Such a cool moment. First championship, you know, the check, everything, the family, the hometown, everything came together. It was a perfect storm. And the thing is, he capitalized on that perfect storm.
It was a perfect ending to that Hollywood story we've been talking about. Great job tonight. Enjoyed sitting up here at the desk with both of you. Hey, Brian, we look forward to seeing you fight in your hometown coming up. First time ever for you, right?
I'm glad I had 35 fights, and I've never fought in Phoenix. So first I heard of it was with everybody else today. It's in Phoenix, October 16th. Super pumped, you know, and to be able to finally fight in front of the hometown crowd.
I'm glad it's in October when it's not in August.
I mean, it'll be 90-something, but it won't be 110.
I'll take that.
Great job tonight, guys. Awesome fights. Looking forward to seeing both of you guys soon. All right, well, Bellator Nation, if you would like to revisit any portion of tonight's insane fight card, that amazing fight action, Showtime, we've got you covered. Check your listings to find replays of Bellator MMA on Showtime and Showtime Extreme. All right, well, Bellator MMA will be back in action Friday, August 13th with another world title fight, the dream catcher, Gegard Mousasi. He aims to keep a grip on his 185-pound belt. His biggest nightmare, though, the #1 contender in John Salter. You'll watch us live on Showtime Friday, August 13th at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Well, with all the drama that we served up tonight, Showtime provides a little comic relief coming your way. Up next, an encore episode of Flatbush Misdemeanors, starring Dan Perlman and Kevin Iso. So be sure to stick around for that. Well, that does it for us up here at the Fight Desk. What an incredible night of Bellator MMA fights. Well, now we're going to head back over to Morrow for a final goodbye. Mo?
One of the most memorable nights in Bellator MMA history, and we dearly missed executive producer of Bellator MMA, Scott Fishman, who lost his father, Edwin, earlier this week. And Fish, your family of Bellator MMA just wants to send you all the love and support that you and your family need. We hope to see you soon as we put a button on this tremendous night of action here at the LA Forum. And a fantastic night of fights as we began with the #5 ranked Goichi Yamauchi in the lightweight division, handing Chris Gonzalez his first defeat as Yamauchi records just his second victory via form of knockout. Usman Nurmagomedov made a successful Bellator MMA debut, defeating former Bellator lightweight champion Brent Primus. Usman Nurmagomedov improved to 13-0, defeating Manny Muro. In a hotly contested featherweight fight, Mads Burnell defeated #2 ranked Emmanuel Sanchez, the #8 ranked Burnell looking to move up the rankings. And then in the main event, AJ McKee in front of the hometown crowd became the new Bellator featherweight champion as he won the World Grand Prix and won that $1 million bonus check. AJ McKee is money.